Touring cars are a mainstay in international motorsport and, of course, have their own passionate following in the UK. What better way then for a bunch of British sim racers to spend their Thursdays than in the world's best touring cars on the world's best racetracks? The spring 2022 season of BSRTC is here, and we kick things off at Silverstone. Hello and welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Silverstone circuit. I am Manager Cardinal the Fourth with JP Costa joining me as per usual. And JP, welcome back to touring car racing. We have a lot of racing throughout the week on Pit Stop TV, but something about touring cars is always just a bit special, especially at Silverstone.
Absolutely. Having these guys back, having these cars back, the challenge that the front-wheel drive nature of the touring car they have, it's just amazing. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited to see these cars racing. And you mentioned, there's no better way to start than at Silverstone with the touring cars, with the British sim racers. It's bound to be fun.
It is going to be exactly that, a whole lot of fun this afternoon. We had a lot of fun on Tuesday with the Mazda Miatas, now getting ready for what I think could be even better potentially with these touring cars. First up, really, JP, is we got to talk about the new car that's in the field. I know when we first started covering these guys last season, I kept wanting to, for some reason, say that the Elantra was actually the Veloster. Well, no, Hyundai had the Elantra at first in this series, and as time has gone on, the Veloster's actually been added in the most recent iRacing build to begin off in March, so that's changing things up just a little bit. Really, functionally, things are just about the same, but that fourth car out there, that extra Hyundai option, is quite nice for some drivers. So here is the sim and how things are looking this morning in Silverstone, at least in sim. Car is on track already for qualifying. Let's roll right on through this then, JP. A look at the Silverstone Circuit International layout. It's pretty straightforward, actually. It's a very normal course to look at. Well, it's weird to look at because, we see Vale and Club and Stowe and, even Abbey and Farm now. We've gotten used to that with the more modern layout of Silverstone. But to see that cut through straight to Chapel and right onto the hangar straight, that's where things get a little bit weird. And to see it just, this end of the racetrack, it's a little bit odd to see. But otherwise, it's still a straightforward course, just a little bit more technical than what we saw on the national layout last season.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to be even more challenging, especially with the touring cars. That front-wheel drive nature, I don't think the drivers will be able to attack as much as they did on the MX-5, especially through Village and I want to say Chapel. Obviously, turns 7, 8, and 9 also going to be an interesting challenge, and I cannot wait to see how side-by-side action will develop with this car. Obviously, you need a lot of confidence to essentially make a move around the outside, but with these cars, you need much more than that.
A look at our full season schedule for the spring of 2022. Here you go. March 24th kicks things off this evening. May 26th will end things later on in, well, literally 2 months' time. Donington Park next week, Knock Hill Racing Circuit afterwards. You can see the layouts there on the right side of each of the track names as well, JP. So we're changing things up from last season. The three tracks that carry over from Britain, of course being Silverstone, Donington Park, and Knock Hill Racing Circuit, those are all different layouts now, from national to international here at Silverstone, from the national layout to the Grand Prix layout at Donington Park, and from the national layout to the reverse layout at Knock Hill Racing Circuit. International layout to the reverse international layout at Knock Hill. Then you add in things like Sonoma, Road America, Canadian Tire, Watkins Glen, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, Daytona International Speedway, and of course Sebring International Raceway. It's definitely a heavily North American influenced schedule, and these guys they told me about it when they were developing the schedule for this season. But it's still a lot of classic racetracks, I feel like, that are going to lend to some really good racing.
Oh, absolutely. And the challenge that some of these courses are going to bring is going to be very interesting. Obviously, the three British courses are going to be amazing to look at. You know that I'm really excited for round 3 at Knock Hill, the reverse layout of the course. But just looking at it, thinking about Canadian Tire, how that will be difficult with the front-wheel drives is, a challenge. Just for me thinking, it's going to be a challenge I cannot imagine even for the drivers. And obviously, Road Atlanta, Sebring is going to be fun. Watkins Glen is so much fun. I'm pretty sure everybody loves it. It's a very North American layout schedule, as you mentioned, but it's still tons of fun.
31 cars on track for qualifying. Let's go ahead and meet just a few of them. You can see already atop of the board. How about that? A Pro-Am potentially leading things in qualifying. Nathan Davies, he's in the pit lane currently, which is a bit interesting, but we'll see if he gets on the racetrack one more time here in qualifying. Let's take a look then at Tom Mayle, the top pro driver, and you can see RD SimSport, Rowdy SimSport, as we nicknamed them at the end of last season there, JP. They are back, and they are ready to go fast. Tom Mayle already second and, well, leading actually for pole in pro, albeit just a little bit behind Nathan Davies for the overall pole. James Holman, the next of the RD SimSport drivers, and the next of the pro drivers at all on that list there in the 4th spot. You see some familiar names. Andy McEwen there in 5th place overall for Pro-Am. The Pro-Am field is stacked now in this series. The amateur field has been thinned out a little bit, and the pro field has really thinned out quite a bit, and I think RD SimSport is ready to take over.
Absolutely, locking out essentially the front row of the pro drivers. They're definitely looking very fast. You can see Shane Piggott right here in his
now
number 27. Yeah, now a pro, and he's running the new Veloster as well.
Yes,
very different car, very interesting looking to say the least. That very different from the previous generation, but we're just gonna have to wait and see how the car behaves on all different race courses. That was a big talking point last season, Andrew. You know, the Honda was dominating at some circuits, the Audi dominated in a few circuits, and obviously the Hyundai Elantra dominated at a few. So it's gonna be interesting to see with 4 cars how the balancing, how the field will balance around that.
Let's look on through the pro category a little further. Martin Shirley in car number 5, also in one of the Velosters. Now, I've heard so far that the Veloster feels like a mix of the Honda Civic and the Hyundai Elantra that we already had on the service. So, mixing those two cars, they seem to be most popular already. Mixing those two, keeping the same strengths from each, that's going to be interesting. Well, this Veloster might be for real. It might mean business here. Joe Winter, it seems, a teammate to Martin Shirley, and we're going to learn these teams as we go on, but it looks like SimTech Racing there for Shirley and Winter as they get their qualifying runs underway. Chris Knox sitting in the 20th position, and that's the other thing to keep in mind here, JP, is Martin is 18th, Joe is 19th, and Chris Knox is 20th. If they are all pro drivers, they're a little behind the mark so far in qualifying. Rob Sutherland as well. He is 26th. Quite a ways off of pole time. So these Pro-Ams, they are certainly letting these pros have it.
Absolutely. It looks like they're struggling. It kind of reminds me of the first season that the hypercars were introduced to the World Endurance Championship that were kind of running with the LMP2s. But I'm sure they're just going to bounce back as quickly as possible. And we'll quickly be back on pace as we remember. As you can see now, Ferrier currently in 3rd place overall, 2nd place in the Pro-Am, just, well, 2.5 tenths of a second behind pole, so still a bit of time to find. And we know, Andrew, that the slipstream is very powerful around here, especially that big straightaway. But unfortunately, excursions off track like this won't count towards your time, but, well, it'll definitely give you a bit of experience.
Here's a look at Andy McEwen in position number 5, currently in qualifying, car 504, and again, you'll see that some drivers are in some different classes. And for example, here, Andy McEwen, a pro in the MX-5s on Tuesday, is now a Pro-Am in the touring cars as he's able to focus on this season this time around. Going to be interesting to see how he meshes into this Pro-Am field, especially in these touring cars. Michael Seal joins him, in fact, now as teammates as well. They're going to get their livery sorted out for next week, but apparently as teammates there, and I got to actually check the messages and see exactly who they're teamed up with. That would be James Neve. So Andy McEwen, Michael Seal, and James Neve, keep them in mind. They are all teammates. Now, somebody we've got to take a look at, Lee Holmes. You can see on the side of that car, he's got number 935, and you can even see that coming through scoring, he has scored his car at 935, JP, but on the ticker and in the driver's sign-up, he has listed his car 535, so he's even still got the Pro-Am banner as opposed to the amateur banner. We'll see. I'd imagine he is still Pro-Am, but if he is Am, he is currently your pole sitter in Am. If not, you got to go down to Dominic, and I was hoping I didn't have to say this name just yet, Dominic Opadesano. I think that's close, but I'm not sure.
Pretty sure you quite nailed that, actually. Opadesano sounds Italian a bit. But, well, he's currently on pole, so he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Currently 13th place as well, Andrew, so a really good qualifying for him. Obviously, he doesn't have a big buffer between him and second place on his class because second place is right behind him. But currently only 6/10 of a second, 6.5 tenths around that away from pole. And looks like on this lap he might get a good enough slipstream to maybe, catch up by a few tenths of a second. But Fox is just behind him, albeit around a tenth of a second.
So as this session kind of rolls on, only 90 seconds to go before the timer runs out, and these laps will be cut short. Let's look on through the field a bit more. Check out Andrew Littler in car number 999. Littler with that Result clothing team. You can see Spyro there on the hood and the sides of that Hyundai Elantra. He is currently the slowest of the qualifiers. He's only ahead of Koyashi Kelly and Dale Benison. They have not turned lap times just yet. That said, Littler is only about 2/100ths of a second behind Fiona Siddons and only a little more behind Alan Toon. So these positions at the bottom, they are very close and are still going to move around. And I think as they get racing, and there you go, Littler did just move up in front of Fiona Siddons. As these guys get racing, things are going to get fun, especially with the invert looming ahead. Let's check out a few more cars. Rob Sutherland, we took a look at him. Sir Alan Toon is back, of course, in car number 965. No change there. Alistair Hatcher for 88 Tech Racing, back in a Honda this time. And let's see, Martin Johnson, that's a new name I see out there with Fuel Plus on the side of that race car. Car number 505. Rob Jackson, another new name. It looks like teammates there with guys like Joe Winter and Martin Shirley. And Roger Morton now into Pro-Am after battling for that championship last season.
Absolutely, Roger. It's good to see him moving up the ranks already in Pro-Am. So hopefully he can, who knows, maybe by next season, Andrew, we're going to be talking to him about the number 92, maybe in the Pro category. Currently, his sits looks like just outside the top 20, 21st place. So a good qualifying session for him. You can consider, as you can see, getting a bit of traffic. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Normally, it seems like race pace is his strong suit, so we're just going to have to keep an eye out for him.
Let's take a look at car 936 there. Sean Fleming in the pit lane, but looking pretty good in amateur in position number 17. That's only behind Adam Fox and Dominic Opedisano. That's going to be tough to get used to. Craig Schill, though, is on the racetrack and in a differently colored 88 Tech car and is now a 500 number as well. So in case you're kind of maybe new to the series, the white number boxes on your ticker, those are pro drivers. They are also signified by the single or double digit numbers. The 500 numbers, those are your pro-ams. They are also, of course, blue on the ticker. And for the amateurs, they're 900 numbers. They are yellow on the ticker. That kind of shows you exactly who is in what class, who's racing who, as Rob Sutherland actually goes faster than Alistair Hatcher in qualifying. And you can see Craig Schill doing something very, very important here, JP, practicing those standing starts. The Audi was really good last season. I don't think that's changed, but the Honda just might be the next best potentially. And you can see Craig Schill trying to nail things down here in qualifying, get used to that standing start.
Yeah, absolutely. The starts we saw last season, how difficult the starts were, especially around Daytona. I'm not quite sure if you remember the bit of a struggle we had at Daytona with the starts. But, it's very important, especially on front-wheel drive. It's one of the few, if not the only car in iRacing that is front-wheel drive, maybe apart from the Cadillac. So it's really difficult
no, the
to get
Cadillac is having rear-wheel drive. The Kia and the Jetta are the only other ones. So you're right. It is in rarefied air.
Yes, there you go. And it's really difficult to get it started due to the lack of traction. So getting the practice in by the end of qualifying is definitely going to help a few of these drivers out because you can definitely make up a lot of positions on the first few laps.
As we get ready to go through the grid here, we've got, of course, a 15-minute race to start, and then 3 more 15-minute races. We'll check in on the weather in just one moment, but let's go ahead and meet your starting grid, or at least as much of it as we can meet in one go. Nathan Davies on pole in car 555. No surprise there. He's always quick in these touring cars. James Holman, though, joins him on the front row. Starting from third, you'll find car number 591, another one of the Pro-Am drivers, Neil Ferrier, in position number 3. Tom Mill there starting from the 4th spot, only 2nd in Pro. Things are going to be interesting on these starts. Starting 5th, you'll find Andy McEwen in car 504 to the Pro-Am with Sam Smith alongside. Starting 7th, that's Michael Seal. Robin Walters rolls off 8th, and Lee Holmes and James Neve will wrap up your top 10.
11th place will go the way of Shane Piggott in his number 27. The number 573 of Carl Hardy is going to start in 12th place on the outside lane. Chris Knox is going to start in 13th place. Outside of him is going to be Dominic Opedisano in the number 913 in 14th place. 15th place, starting off row number 8, it's going to be Adam Fox on the inside and Craig Schill on the outside in 16th place. 17th place to go the way of Sean Fleming on the number 936, and number 11 of Joe Winter on his outside. And row number 10 will go the ways of Scott Malcolm and Martin Shirley.
11 more cars make up your field. It's Roger Morton 21st, Martin Johnson rolling off 22nd, Rob Jackson starts from 23rd, Rob Sutherland will start from 24th position, Alistair Hatcher will start from 25th on the inside of row number 13, and it's Duncan Cope starting from 26th spot. Sir Alan Toon rolls off with a stop hat from position 27, Andrew Littler, his teammate, from 28th. 3 more to go, Fiona Siddons, Koyoshi Kelly, I'll get that one down eventually, and Dale Bennison. 31 cars make up the grid, waiting on the green flag, the first green flag of the BSRTC season, and we are racing already. A couple of slow starts, but we get rolling. You can see the chaos down in the village for the first time. 31 cars trying to find their braking points, figure out where they need to be, and already some contact, some puffs of smoke further back in the field as we work onto the hangar straight for the first time.
This is one of the trickiest parts of the race. The first lap, the tires are not up to temperature. You can see a bunch of drivers scattering already to the inside lane. A few drivers drag racing across the line. You can see everybody trying to file it back on a single file line. Andrew, as we head towards the end of the first lap, this is only the first lap of many tonight, and I can already tell you some drivers are getting excited, and some of them are even getting racy, you can see.
We're expecting 14 laps in each of these touring car races today. We'll see how the pace matches that. James Holman got the whole shot off the start. He is your race leader as we head out of club for the first time. Car number 4, the pretty solid lead, and that Audi will lead across the line. 1 lap complete, 13 to go in race number 1. Of course, we have 4 races as per usual. That format does not change. Holman already a 2-car lead over Tom Mayle as well. What can Mayle do? And this pro class is going to be very interesting to watch this season as Mayle is already working on Davies here. This is for 3rd overall.
Yeah, Tom, he really needs to catch up to the few drivers up in front to maybe battle for the lead. As you can see, even more battles. Looks like a car just went wild. That looks like is Andy McEwen. He's battling Michael Seal and Chris Knox for 7th place. And, well, it looks like the battles are already getting feisty. Andrew, look at this. Look at how many cars we get. It almost went contact there between the two. It looks like a Honda and an Elantra, and both Hondas now go side by side as we enter the hangar straight. And this is just going to be the story of tonight, and a lot of cars going side by side, just like we're used to.
Already a pretty sizable lead for car 4. James Holman over a half second back to Neil Ferrier, your Pro-Am leader. Nathan Davies in second. He's got company from Tom Mayle. You've got to go back to Chris Knox to find your next pro driver in car number 10. And he is all over the back end of Lee Holmes. This could be a good little battle. Well, let's go on board with car 10 and see what he can do here.
Absolutely. Trying to get a good enough line on the exit. You can see the different cars. We're just going to have to see who has, the least drag. Or obviously the slipstream is going to help the number 10 of Chris Knox. He's not going to be trying to move down into turns 1 or 2, but we could see him move down into turn 3. But looks like Roger Morton already has big issue, and that was a big crash. Oh my God.
Big crash on the front stretch,
Wow.
and that is it for Roger Morton. He will have to take the tow and go to the pit lane. Let's go back and find out what happened. It seems like he may have gotten some help, potentially, from Robin Walters. Let's go on board, then, with Robin Walters and watch all of this happen. This is into turn number 7. Roger Morton just up the road. Another one of their Result Clothing teammates a little further ahead with the work guard colors. I believe that was Carl Hardy, but something happens here with Roger Morton. Maybe some contact out of club. And, oh, yeah, that's just a low percentage move. There was never room.
Yeah, absolutely. The door was never open, and Roger, obviously, he went a little bit away from the white line, but
Wow.
not anywhere near enough. And how many close calls did we get over there? I think it was 3 or 4.
That might have been Alistair Hatcher missing all of that on the front stretch. Let's take it on board there. That's one to make you, I don't even know, that'll raise some goosebumps, certainly.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely raised some goosebumps for the racing driver. Imagine if you were on his seat, just seeing a car with, well, absolutely no control at that point. You could see the suspension collapsing, coming towards you. Now exiting turn 9, you're just taking the racing line, trying to get a good exit. And then you see up in front a few cars scattering towards the middle of the road, and then all of a sudden, whoa.
Yeah, that's...
And incredible car control as well.
That was a really good catch there out of Alistair Hatcher. Hangs on to position 23. In fact, we'll rejoin Alistair live in just one moment as he continues to work on the back end of Scott Malcolm now. This is for position 22, so a little ways back in the field, but certainly points that you need to get if you're in this position. And watching one heck of a battle with Sean Fleming and Rob Jackson start to take place down the hangar straight. We'll go to Stowe. And it looks like the work guard car of Scott Malcolm takes that spot away for 21st position.
At least for the time being, we're just going to have to see if he can hold that position on the exit. Looks like for the time, yes, but looks like we're just going to see side-by-side action. Up in front, you can see even more drivers battling, and this is just going to be a trend, almost contact between these two. Well, this is going to get interesting. Andrew's definitely going to keep on going for these, and we're already going side-by-side into turn one.
A couple of pros here. Joe Winter and Rob Sutherland. Rob Sutherland in the black and pink 15 car, and Joe Winter in the black and blue 11, with now a Pro-Am driver up the inside. No, that's an amateur, Adam Fox, car 910, mixing it up with these guys. This is a really good battle. A couple of Velocitors side by side. We'll head down to into Chapel and get back onto the hangar straight. Good run there for car 11. Joe Winter going to set sail away from Adam Fox there. Let's go back all the way up front, though. Neil Ferrier, very quick those last couple of laps. In fact, went purple last time through. He is all over race leader James Holman.
Yeah, that Audi looks like it's holding itself on those straightaways. Looks like on this part, the Hyundai is just a little bit faster. And that's the trend we saw last season. The Audi being very powerful on the straightaways, but unfortunately suffering on this twisty sections of the racetrack. So Neil, I'm not quite sure, Andrew, if he's just saving a little bit, trying to study how Holman drives, trying to study how the Audi behaves, or he's just gunning for it. But I expect to see a move very, very soon, because that gap is coming down corner after corner.
And it's important to note that that is the normal Hyundai Elantra that we saw all of last season here in BSRTC, and was the only Hyundai option prior to March, I want to say 10th or so. March 9th, I believe, is when the update rolled out. So it's definitely different to go ahead and get that Veloster, but the Elantra is kind of that nice, familiar car that some drivers are used to. Here we go, side by side down the hangar straight. Tom Mayle and Nathan Davies. This is for third. Mayle's got the spot, potentially, it looks like, into Stowe, and yes, he's got it.
Yeah, down the inside, he got that move. Nathan might try to fight it on the exit. You can see that car, that other Hyundai, just got a little bit of a better exit. Mayle's going to go to the racing line. Looks like Davies is not going to fight too hard on the time being. Obviously, I guess he's expecting Andrew Tom to catch up to the two in front, and hopefully the two in front are going to battle to bring them back to this battle. So we could, in the end of the race, see a four-car battle for the lead.
Piggott there, slow in turn 7, loses the spot to Carl Hardy. That is good for 12th for Carl Hardy. And side by side with Robin Walters and Fiona Siddons further back. So really good battles the entire field through. And I've been watching the names on timing and scoring go red and green, positions changing here and there. This battle is still nice and heavy with Joe Winter and Rob Sutherland for 14th and 15th. Adam Fox even tacking on along and trying to get some spots. And all contact almost there from Adam Fox to the back end of car 15 of Sutherland. A lot of new names, a lot of new faces, a lot of new paint schemes that we've got to get used to, and these are a few of them. We're used to Adam Fox, but not in that Veloster, not in that paint scheme that he's got on board today. We're used to the RD SimSport cars, but not Rob Sutherland in that group, at least I don't believe so, and at least not in this capacity. So, well, Sutherland has company now. Adam Fox down the hangar straight to Stowe, going to try and take that spot away.
And he might just do it this time around. Yes, goes down the inside. Nothing the Audi can do on the entry, but look on the exit. Look at that run on the exit. We might see a move down into turn number 7. Not quite. Just a little bit of a gentle push. But, well, that's it for the time being. Look at how close they're getting, Andrew. This is what we missed, and this is what we love to see.
That is touring car racing. Just that little bit of nose to tail contact. Get the guy going. Say how you doing. Keep him moving. And James Holman is still your race leader. Let's go back and check in with him, actually. Teammate to Rob Sutherland that we were just watching in that battle. And, well, where Rob has company from an amateur driver, James Holman has company from a Pro-Am. And I think Neil Ferrier has a really solid chance of taking this win if he keeps this up. And you can even see Davies and Mayle doing battle behind these guys. Two really good tandem battles up front of this field.
Absolutely. It's really good to see, two pro drivers battling against two Pro-Am drivers, and that's just highlighting the quality of the field again. You can see Tom Mayle still trying to hold off Davies. You can see a battle just behind them. Lee Holmes and Sam Smith going side by side. A Honda and a Hyundai, a car from Japan and a car from Korea. Looks like the Hyundai goes down the inside of turn 7. Lee's gonna try to fight it on the outside lane. He gets that move roughly. They're still side by side. We saw plenty of this on the MX-5. I wasn't expecting to see this much on the TCRs, but they're making it work, Andrew. Still drag racing.
And this is for third in Pro-Am as Davies and Verrier do battle. And oh, Davies, I believe, sideways after contact with Mail. He gets right back on as traffic will catch him. Here comes Sam Smith and Lee Holmes. Make this a much larger battle now. Nathan Davies dropping in right where Sam Smith and Lee Holmes want him.
Absolutely. Now this battle is going to get very, very interesting. Obviously, Davies was just pulling away from these two, but that's going to be a welcome slipstream. It's going to be a welcome tow from Sam Smith. And look at how many cars are on this, small pack. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, that is. And looks like McEwen is just tailing the field. No, that's James Neve.
Headed down to Stowe one more time. Sam Smith, nothing he can do with Nathan Davies just yet. So Tom Mail gets away nice and cleanly. And he's able to start putting down some lap times. Teammate to James Holman. I don't think you can make up 3-4 seconds in this little bit of time unless Verrier and Holman have some kind of coming together or some kind of problem. While we have some time in this race, though, JP, we talked about weather briefly. Let's go ahead and bring it up. 65 degrees in the air, 68 on the racetrack. That's nice and cool, nice and brisk on this nice British morning, but that's going to change as the day goes on. We've been used to that here with BSR. That's one of the few things we are used to with the British sim racers.
Oh, we're used to plenty of good racing as well, Andrew. And obviously, a bit of the twist that we have from the spinning wheel. You can see Chris Knox going side by side with Lee Holmes just barely. Oh, and a bit of contact between Chris Knox and Andy McEwen on the exit. I just saw that Andy McEwen's car essentially just correcting itself. So racing is getting feisty, Andrew. And with 3.5 minutes to go, pretty much, well, I'm not expecting anything less.
And there's a change for the race lead. Neil Ferrier around James Holman in Stowe. Around the outside, it looks like as well. He's going to have the inside for Valen into turn 7. He's got that spot. He hangs on to it. First apex, nice and clean. Second apex starting to gap him. And car 4 has no answer for the Pro-Am, who takes the race lead with just a handful of laps to go.
Doing absolutely at the perfect time with 3 minutes to go. Barely, 3 or 4 laps to go. So excellent job by Ferrier. He just has to hold it for the time being. Obviously, Holman's going to be coming in, charging, trying to get that lead back. And if he's close enough, maybe on the entry of the straightaway, that Audi power, that German horsepower, might just have an advantage for him. You can see how close he's getting, but still 3.5 to nearly 0.4 of a second. That's the gap between first and second.
While these two keep battling, let's fall back. Chris Knox, Lee Holmes going after it, Andy McEwen there as well. Chris Knox trying to get through this field. He's got a couple of Pro-Ams holding him up, it looks like. I think by maybe a few hundredths a lap. You see tracking out wide there out of Chapel, getting into the grass a little bit onto the hanger straight. Nathan Davies starting to leave these guys as Holmes and Smith will go side by side on the hanger straight. No help to either car just yet. Knox is hanging back. McEwen is hanging back side by side, and Holmes will take the bottom side of Stowe.
You can see Lee Holmes down the inside. You can see Chris Knox kind of just went a bit too wide. That's going to compromise him. Getting a little bit slowed down by Sam Smith. Sam's going to go down the inside of Lee Holmes, down into turn 7. No, he doesn't. So he kind of waits a little bit. You can see McEwen now hits the curb. Kind of gets bounced on Chris Knox's car. And looks like they're still going to go side by side, losing a little bit of time. Wow, that is action, Andrew. In 2 minutes to go. Looks like this is far from over, as looks like Knox got the position over McEwen.
And Seal with a flash there. 3 teammates now in a row. McEwen, Neve, and Seal. They are all in Pro-Am, and they all want to move forward. We're on board now with Michael Seal. This is going to get a whole lot of fun these last couple of laps. We're on lap 12 of an expected 14. That may change to 13. We'll see how pace is looking when we get back to the start-finish line. In fact, Neil Ferrier leading James Holman down the hanger straight. When do they get back to that start-finish? Do they send this to 2 more laps to go, or is it 1 to go at the stripe?
Yeah, that's going to be the good question. Obviously, Holman is going to be wanting to see 2 more laps. Ferrier is going to be wanting to see just that white flag dropping. But looks like Ferrier, Andrew, is just taking that lead and just leaving it. I mean, he's just keeping it. No mistakes we've seen. The gap seems to be constant. We see the Audi catching up by the end of the straightaway, but looks like there's no response from Holman at this time being.
That should be white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. Unsure for the moment, but these lap times at a 108, they came across with about 105 to go. This should be the white flag lap as the entire field rolls on by our speed shot there on the front stretch. This should be a nice little fun gaggle still. Just inside the top 10, Sam Smith, Chris Knox, Lee Holmes going after it for 5th on back.
Absolutely, this battle is just great to see. Chris Knox goes really deep on the braking. He gets a position done. Looks like he's going to go wide on exit. That could compromise him, but looks like he's just going to hold it for the time being. Goes a little bit defensive, closes the door quite aggressively on Sam Smith, but gets that 6th place.
Up front, into Stowe for potentially the final time. Holman chasing Ferry. That was close in the underbraking. Holman is there. He's going to try and challenge any way that he can. And now, out of Stowe, he really botched the exit and loses a lot of time. Can he do anything in 7, 8, and 9? I don't think so. And no, nothing's going to change in club for a race win. Let's check on these guys a little further back. You can see Chris Knox, a really big battle here. He gets down to the inside of Sam Smith, late on the brakes. And he's going to try and take that spot away in 7. He's got it for now. And across the start-finish line, race is over. Neil Ferrier takes the race win. Already JP kicking things off with a Pro-Am on the top step of the podium. Can you believe it?
It's crazy. Chris Knox lost a bunch of position. He's going to finish down in 8th place. So the last lap battle is crazy. Obviously, he's going to have the advantage on those guys after the invert. You can see a few drivers flashing their headlights after finishing the race. But Andrew, that's only the start of the season. We still have 3 more races, and I am very ready for those.
Aren't we all? As I'm still absolutely astonished that a Pro-Am just won this race. The Pro class has really fallen off this season. It's really weird to see. Usually that's the class that gets stacked up first, but things have changed and a few drivers have parted ways. It's honestly bizarre to see the way things have changed, and Pro-Am might be the new Pro as we go forward in this season, so expect that a little more, I think, out of some of these drivers. Nathan Davies, I think, will certainly contend for some overall wins. Sir Alan Toon out of the final corner will wrap up this race and give us a chance then, JP, to go ahead and check out our spinning wheel for the first time of the afternoon, first time of the season. Let's go ahead and give it a spin and determine our invert. So in case you're new to the way things work in the British Sim Racers MX-5 and Touring Car Series, 4 races a day means we have 3 opportunities to invert a portion of the field, and we spin a wheel to do it, and you can see there, the invert is 19. So we will flip the top 19 finishers, that is first through 19th position, flip them all around. So now 19th will start first in race number 2, and first will start 19th. It's pretty straightforward. I think it adds a lot of fun, and this is how things are going to change.
Absolutely. Neil Ferrier is going to hold off to the first win of the season. It goes to a Pro-Am driver. An excellent job for him. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be starting 19th for race number 2. James Holman finishes in 2nd place. Therefore, he's going to start in 18th just by, well, winning the Pro class, but in 2nd place. That's crazy to think, isn't it, Andrew? Tom Mell is going to finish in 3rd place, 2nd place in the Pro class. Nathan Davies is going to finish in 4th. I have Lee Holmes. Andrew McEwen is going to finish in 6th. Sam Smith in 7th. Chris Knox is going to finish in 8th ahead of Michael Seal, and James Neve is going to round off our top 10.
Finishing in position number 11, you'll find Craig Schill in car 582. That is good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th, it looks like, in Pro-Am, which is staggering to think about. A top 15, nearly a top 10 is 8th in class now with the way things have worked out. Carl Hardy finishes there in 12th. Shane Piggott, Joe Winter in 13th and 14th. Adam Fox splits those couple of drivers in 14th and 16th, those couple of pros, and will finish in the 15th position. Dominic Opedasano will start from 17th. Will finish 17th and will start now from 3rd. Duncan Cope will start now from 2nd, and Martin Johnson will start now from pole in race number 2. So those little battles that were real gathered up real tight to the line. You can see Martin Johnson gets pole by a little over a 10th over Scott Malcolm there at the end of the race. That's why the invert is a whole lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. Obviously, that's going to sting for Scott Malcolm a little bit. Sean Fleming is going to start in 21st place. Alistair Hatcher is going to start in 22nd. Robin Walters in 23rd. Rob Jackson 24th. Dale Benson is going to start in 25th ahead of Andrew Littler. Fiona Simmons in 27th. Alan Toon in 26th. Roger Morton in 29th, 10 laps down, and Martin Shirley, Andrew, in 30th place.
One other car on the list, that's Koyoshi Kelly. Hopefully Koyoshi makes it into the final races of the day and gets points for round number 1. with round one done, we want to go ahead and talk about some of the upcoming broadcasts we have on the channel. JP, we have no drivers that want to talk to us apparently today, so hey, gives us a chance to look at what's coming up on the channel. Of course, you can see the rest of the day, we still have Silverstone action coming up. 3 more races, in fact, so stick around. Things are not at all done just yet. Later this evening, we have a night to morning race at Sebring International Raceway with the North American Racing League GT3 cars. It's going to be a lot of fun. 1 race under our belts this season, and we're already going night racing with those folks. Then on Sunday, we've got Circuit of the Americas with the MPI Cup Series, brand new to the channel, and we're kicking things off in a very interesting way at one of the toughest American road courses that comes to mind. Next gen cars at COTA. It's gonna be a fun time.
Absolutely, it's gonna be fantastic. Cannot wait to see those Cup Series cars. Obviously, we're running the next gen as well, Andrew. So that's gonna be a new experience for me. I've been watching the highlights of the real world racing, and it seems to be fantastic. So I hope that's translated into the same. Obviously, you need to follow us on social media to keep updated, not only with the news but also amazing pictures, and obviously the live broadcasts on Facebook.com/pitstoptv, Twitter.com/pitstoptv_, Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, and YouTube.com/pitstoptv1.
With 1 race out of the way, that means we have 3 more to go, and we've got to get ready for them. 19 cars, that's the invert between races 1 and 2, and we'll be right back in just a few with that second race in the day, the second race on the season of 40 total. It's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the day. Make sure to stick with us here at Pit Stop TV.
Sound Art, combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back to the virtual Silverstone circuit. Race 1, that's done. Race 2 is on the way. It was pretty interesting, JP, to see a Pro-Am driver lead the way, dominate that first race, I think. And really, it was a matter of just getting to James Holman, staying on James Holman, and then just waiting for the opportunity. I really do think that Ferrier just controlled that first race.
Absolutely. The move was done, perfectly. It was just a one-time move, and it was done. Did not really give Holman a good chance to fight back, and after that injury, it was essentially not driving away, but really controlling, his race, the rest of the race. Now, obviously, he's gonna have a big challenge starting 19th place, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what he can do from the second half of the grid.
Starting first in this race, you'll find Martin Johnson. We'll cover about the top 10 or so. Of course, we went through the invert a little bit ago. Duncan Cope will start from second, starting in the third position for race number 2. You'll find Dominic Opadesano. That's going to be interesting all season long. Rob Sutherland will roll off from fourth position in car 25. Then it's Adam Fox, Joe Winter in row 3. Shane Piggott will roll off from 7th. Carl Hardy 8th. With Craig Schill starting from 9th and James Neve in 10th. And of course, we went through the full invert there. JP, the weather, it's changed a little bit. The air temp is about the same, but that track temp is starting to get just a little bit toasty as we get ready for race number 2. 86 degrees Fahrenheit. That's nothing too crazy, but when you start to put more heat into the track, once these guys get racing, it's going to get a little warm, and it's certainly a big adjustment from race number 1. That said, red lights on, waiting on the green lights now for race number 2. 15 more minutes of racing, waiting on the signal from the flag stand, and there it is. Green flag is out for race 2. Already a land rush through 1 and 2, and crashing you can see in the distance as the field makes it into Village for the first time. Cars spreading far and wide, trying to figure out where they can go to miss damage. James Neve is spinning, Michael Seal is spinning, Andy McEwen is spinning. So the guys that were just mentioned, part of a brand new team, yeah, those 3 of them, they're all taken out in this first crash, or at least damaged in this first crash. Some more battling and contact there through Chapel, and here we go for the race lead. It is Martin Johnston defending over Joe Winter into Stowe.
A lot of battles happening, especially for the lead. Drivers being very aggressive early on, trying to get those early spots, trying to get track position, which is very important. Looks like the leader retains his position for the time being. But Andrew, as we kind of expected after the invert, things do get a bit hairy as you have a few drivers making a mistake, going a little bit too wide on turn number 7, and everybody bunching up once again. Obviously, it might lead to a bit of contact, but it definitely looks very good.
The whole field comes on by our speed shot to complete lap number 1. Martin Johnson now leading the race. Joe Winter second. Duncan Cope in third. And no, change that around. Duncan Cope gets on by the pro of Joe Winter. What is this race?
It is definitely crazy, and it's only starting. It's only lap number 2. Duncan Cope, after challenging for the lead, drops back to 3rd place. He's definitely going to be trying to fight back, and there we go. Just down the inside of turn number 5. Gets them a little bit of pushing. Looks like Duncan Cope a little bit wide. Looks like they both stick it on the tarmac, and it's just going to be a bit of a drag race. The Audi versus the Hyundai.
And Winter is that blue and black 11 car now on the inside for Stowe here. Duncan Cope is the good smile number 912 around the outside. And it seems like the outside of Stowe might be the way to go. You get the inside now through Vale, headed down to turn 7. You got the inside row as well. It just seems like the bottom is best, although you've got to really fight into the braking zone here for turn 7. And there's contact behind with Sutherland and Piggott. 3 wide now, they'll go through Club.
That was impressive. You can see rejoining the track. Looks like bunching up a few of the drivers behind that second pack. A bit of contact. We saw a car going wide. Oh,
Carl Hardy. Carl Hardy and Neil Ferrier, who just won the first race, is completely destroyed on the front stretch. That car is junk. And how about that? Andy McEwen, after being involved in a lap 1 incident, goes purple on lap number 2.
So that's the fastest lap of the race with clean air. He was the fastest. Now Michael Seal is the fastest driver. Just 2 in the bottom end of the grid so far. But look at this battle, Andrew. This is absolutely wonderful to watch. Just the second field, essentially from 3rd on back. This is an amazing battle to keep an eye on. Look at that train.
You can see drivers poking out, trying to find something here down the front, or down the hangar straight, rather. Duncan Cope, Joe Winter. That battle is kind of blown up. Now it's Rob Sutherland all over the inside of Duncan Cope and Adam Fox there in tow. So a couple of amateur drivers battling with a pro. We are at least seeing more pro representation in this top 10. You can see Piggott and Holman in that top 10 joining Winter. Things changing a little bit, and these are some wild battles throughout the entire top 10, top 15 or so. More contact there. Smith goes wide. That was a really good move. Was that Holman? Who was that? Was that Chris Knox, actually? Chris Knox? Knox is being shown in one of the RD SimSport liveries. That's a change.
Yeah, that is definitely a change. He changed his number as well from the number 10 he was running, wasn't it?
Well, I think that's being set. I don't think his number is actually set in the league, so he's going to get kind of whatever he gets handed. Is up the inside. Here comes Nathan Davies challenging for 9th. Contact there with Simtech Sam Smith. Oh my goodness, this is some good stuff.
This is some amazing stuff, Andrew. I'm loving to see this. You can see a bunch of cars bunched up now on the hangar straight. You can see drag racing cars trying to, well, essentially find any spot on the racetrack to pass their competition. This is absolutely wonderful to watch, and it's very far from over.
On board with car 555, Nathan Davies, so electric last season, always battled in the top 10 or so. And definitely had his fair share of spills, I think, last season with several drivers, but really good driver. I'm glad to see him back in the series. I know a few drivers left and they did their own thing. It's good to see these guys come back.
Absolutely. It's good to see the familiar faces. Amazing to see the new faces as well. So it's a good mixture between all of them, as this battle is definitely far from over. You can see Holman trying to get past Sam Smith, kind of stuck and now having to defend really aggressively from Nathan Davies. That's going to compromise his exit into turn 1 and turn 2. So expect Nathan to maybe pounce and move down into turn number 3. Looks like it's not going to be close enough. But boy, oh boy, Andrew, with only, what, 6 minutes, less than 6 minutes in already racing, this is some wild, wild stuff.
And Duncan Cope is defending quite aggressively over Sam Smith as well. This is a really good defense from Duncan Cope so far from position number 7. But I think Sam Smith might have a run. Yes, he's got it on the hangar straight. That is going to bring the RD SimSport machine of Chris Knox along with James Holman, rather. We're going to get these numbers and names down right one of these days. Holman follows on through on the bottom side of Stowe, side by side with Cope. And oh my goodness, the run Smith just got, coat bobbling all around. Nathan Davies up the inside. Is he going to go for it? No, he holds back for once.
He holds back. Looks like he's defending his position a little bit. You can see
contact.
Going a bit wide. A bit of contact. You can see the back bumper of Duncan Cope's Audi is a bit damaged, so maybe a little bit of action was already seen by their rear view camera. And you can see now Nathan Davies just looking down the inside of turn 1. Will he go for it on this lap?
He does.
Yes, he will. So not wasting any time. You can see the Audi has a little bit of a run on the exit, and he's gonna try to close in the door. Nathan goes all the way to the outside curb. Now doesn't have a lot of car on the inside. He's gonna lose the position to Lee Holmes. Beautiful move.
What a run there from Lee to get that spot. Oh, and almost contact there. Craig Schill is in all of this. Craig Schill up to 12th position now, chasing Nathan Davies and Lee Holmes. Lee's got a mirror full of car 555 now. He'll head down the hangar straight and passing up ahead. Chris Knox doing some battle with Adam Fox. And even Shane Piggott there in car 27 as well.
That's an excellent battle. Just, well, it looks like 4 pro drivers in a row. Winter, Sunderland, Piggott, and Knox. You can see Knox on the outside. Looks like Adam Fox was looking at one point down the inside of Shane Piggott. You can see Knox braving around the outside. A little bit of contact between those two. This is just like Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc a few years ago. And while Chris Knox gets the advantage, Adam Fox as well makes his way through Shane Piggott, who looks like he's very compromised and might even lose a position to Sam Smith.
Piggott now on the outside for Abbey. Going to lose another spot, it looks like. Maybe not. Fox couldn't do anything there on the bottom. What can he do into Village? Fox leans back a little bit more. Opening the door maybe for Knox up the inside. And yes, Chris Knox right up the inside of Village, and he hits him.
Oh, a bit of contact between those two. Looks like
saved
straightening
it.
Up. Yeah, looks like maybe a little bit of contact straightening him up so he gets right back on the action. And, well, the action is very far from over. And you look at how many cars we have going side by side. It's way too much action. I mean, I'm running out of breath and out of water because, boy, this is amazing. You can see a few cars going, looks like slowly, maybe a drive-through, or not a drive-through, a slowdown penalty.
Maybe 2 or 3 wide into Stowe. Davies at the inside of Holmes trying to take that spot away, and he gets real close to the back end of Sam Smith. Slots himself in between Smith and Holmes there. And oh, Smith into the pit lane here.
Oh, that has to be a penalty of some sort, maybe too much contact. We saw a lot of, well, not a lot of off-track excursions, but a lot of, car contact between these two. So, not these two, the whole grid. So maybe Smith was a victim of the first drive-through penalty we've seen. That would definitely set him a little bit back. Joe Winter caught up Johnston quite a lot on this last few laps. The gap was stationary around 2 seconds. Right now it's less than 1.
Yeah, really closing in here. This will be for, well, the race lead if he can get there. But also, this affects, the Pro and Pro-Am positioning. Pro and Pro, yeah. So, again, you can see on the left side of the ticker, some of these drivers don't have their number boards in just yet. We'll try and get on that for next week. But Chris Knox, Rob Sutherland anyways, they should be pros. Joe Winter is trying to gap them, trying to put another position in between them. They're not just being scored for points based on their class position. They're being scored on points for their overall position, and everybody's broken down later into classes. So really, it is a race against everybody out there. That's why you have these intra-class battles rather, where you have pros and pro-ams duking it out. And then you try and get points from there and sort things out. Joe Winter needs to get this spot. I think it would be a very, very good start for him to, rebounding from that gap he's certainly going to have after race number 1. In contact there was Sutherland and Holman. Wow, that was a catch. No, that's Sutherland and, man, who is that actually?
Davies,
yes, you're right. Thank you.
Yeah, a bit of contact between those two. That's going to allow you can see a bit of headlight flashing, so a bit of frustration settling from Sutherland, that is, right? So, already 3 wide action. That's not going to end that well as well, but they almost save it.
Lee Holmes definitely was sideways there, and we'll need a change of shorts after that one. Shane Piggott has company from Nathan Davies ahead, and he's going to go on by James Holman. How about this battling? This is crazy stuff.
This is absolutely amazing. I'm loving to watch this race number 2. So many overtakes, so many challenges. And look at this. Once again, looking down the inside. And, well, that's move done for the time being. Can Shane try to fight it back? Looks like he's going to be fighting with Holman on the exit. Can that Audi do anything? Looks like no for the time being. Andrew, we still have 4.5 minutes. And he goes down the inside. They both avoid contact. This is excellent.
And we've got a battle for the race lead as well. Holman going to take the inside now through Club. This is not for the race lead yet. This is for the race lead, though, as Martin Johnson has a mirror full of Joe Winter, and I think this battle might go nice and quickly. They've got 4 seconds to the cars behind, and yes, Winter, right down to the inside of Village. He was looking like he was going to straight line break that corner and just go ahead and take that spot on the inside, but not just yet. Winter holds himself back, and the Exemplia Group number 11 car, I think, is about to have a race win on his hands.
Yeah, he might just have it. He needs to line up a move. He essentially needs to rewatch what happened in race number 1 to essentially do a carbon copy. He needs to overtake and make sure the overtake is done for. He cannot allow the rest of the field to catch up, especially Chris Knox down in 3rd place. And a mistake from Johnson. This could be it.
Maybe a window of opportunity. The run down through Vale down to turn number 7. And we should have 3 laps to go this time by. Nothing that Winter can do just yet. Great battles behind. Let's go ahead and take it. Well, maybe not. Right to his rear bumper here. This is really good. 2 Hyundais very close. Winter a bit aggressive there on the curbing, but he is still all over Johnson. This is for the race lead and for the win.
This is a lot of pressure that Johnston is feeling. You can see him making a few mistakes here and there, and well, Winter is doing absolutely everything he can. We might see a move down into turn number 3. You can see the Veloster looking down the inside. They're gonna go side by side through turn 3, and yes, they're gonna go side by side through 4 and 5 again. Can Winter? No, he has to back off a little bit. Yes, he does. Johnston doesn't even leave him a lot of room on the apex, and well, that's position still for Johnson. You can see Knox, Andrew is catching. The gap is down to 2.4.
Knox is definitely closing in, so Winter and Johnson, they're doing exactly what they don't want to do right now. Throwing these big moves, battling side by side, and slowing each other down. This is a little further back in the field. Andy McEwen, Robin Walters, Duncan Cope, and Domenico Opedisano. This is 14th through 17th spots. So it looks like McEwen's going to have a spot potentially on Walters. Or is it the other way around? Contact in stone. McEwen takes the spot away. Walters falls on back right in front of Duncan Cope and Opedisano.
This is crazy. Oh, a little bit of door banging. A little bit. So, excellent. This is touring car racing, isn't it, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, this has been great stuff all day long. This has been the stuff that we want to see, the beating and banging that we want to see on a road course without the big crashes and big drama that we saw a lot last season. This has been really good stuff. Just properly good racing, using each other up, and having a whole lot of fun. And a change maybe for the race lead. Yes, Winter finally takes it in corner number 3. Well, I think he's off to the races.
Yeah, that might just be the move that wins him the race with, 2 laps to go, Andrew. That might just be, unless Johnson has anything to do. Chris Knock is approaching quickly, so there's still a chance that this lead could change. Winter has to nail every single corner. Johnston has to essentially line up a move, and Chris Knox just need to push like a madman to close up to those 2, and that's exactly what he's doing.
We will be coming to the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams, this time by Martin Johnson, a bit wide there in 7. He's properly opened the door now to Chris Knox, and Chris is going to take it through club. Easy moves there compared to what it could have been. And now we might have a proper race on our hands between a couple of pros to settle this last lap. White flag is out, presented by Whiplash Simcams. This is going to be close. Can Chris Knox get there? 1 lap to go, and he's within a half second.
Yeah, he's very close. He's definitely within that window of opportunity to try and get the lead back. He gets a better racing line. He closes up once again. The gap is less than 0.3 of a second now. So
he'll have a chance in Stowe.
Yeah, he'll have one and only chance, and he gets an excellent exit, Andrew. This could definitely be it. Winter goes very defensive. He goes all the way to the right side of the racetrack. Chris Knox is going to have to do it around the outside. An iconic move. Can he replicate what if someone F1 greatest did at one time? He's going to force it around the outside. Yes, he does. Can he keep it around the outside? Yes, they're going to drag race through turn 7.
Side by side, down to turn 7 for the final time. This is for the race win. Chris Knox at the inside of Joe Winter. Winter will not move. He will not budge. Contact. And Knox is going to have to catch the car. Goes wide. And Joe Winter will exit turn number 9. A race winner in BSRTC. Congratulations. That was a good one.
That was a fantastic battle. Johnson's going to finish 3rd to win the Pro-Am class. Davis is going to finish 4th. Holman's going to round off the Pro podium. Piggott in 5th. Lee Holmes in 7th. Adam Fox, Andrew, in 8th place. He's going to be winning the amateur class, and what a drive from him as well.
that is how you end your first race win for Joe Winter. That was just good. Chris Knox, he didn't win one last season. He about opened the season with a really solid win here at Silverstone, but hey, that means he's got to go drive a little bit harder for it next time around and maybe change things up. Does he go around the inside maybe in Stowe to try and get the outside for Vale? I don't know. That was just good racing.
That was fantastic racing, Andrew. Now we get the opportunity to essentially decide how many cars, not decide, but throw it to Lady Luck to decide how many cars will be inverted for next race. And with the amount of cars that finish on the lead lap, it's kind of hard seeing that many cars, but could it be full? Or 19 once again? Yeah, it's going to be 19. That was close.
That was really close to changing things up a whole lot. Now, that would have only been a 22-car invert. A lot of drivers finishing at least one lap down in this race this time around. But actually, it would have been a 24-car invert. But still, it wouldn't have been as crazy as maybe it could have been. Let's go ahead and check out the unofficial race results after that one. JP, here's your top 10.
Joe Winter held off Chris Knox on the last lap charge to finish first place. Chris Knox is going to finish second, just 0.3 of a second behind. Martin Johnston is going to finish third to win the Pro-Am class. Nathan Davies in fourth. James Holman in fifth ahead of Shane Piggott. Lee Holmes in seventh ahead of Adam Fox, who won the amateur class. Rob Sutherland in ninth place and Scott Malcolm in 10th.
Finishing 11th, once again, it looks like it's Craig Schill. Really good run there for Craig. But he's got to get at least one more spot higher. You know, you want to get that top 10. Always matters, even if only for stats. But still, good start today for Craig Schill. 2 11th place finishes. And will now start the next race in the exact same position. Carl Hardy finishes there in 12th. Martin Shirley in 13th. Andy McEwen recovers to 14th. Robin Walters there in the 15th position. The top 4 now for the start of race number 3. They will be Dominic Opadesano, Michael Seal, Duncan Cope, and Dale Bennison. So a good recovery there from Dale and a good start it will be for race number 3 in just a few more moments. Fiona Siddons wraps up your top 20, just one spot shy, albeit 15 seconds shy of the invert.
Andrew Lillard is going to finish in 21st place ahead of Sir Alan Toon. Those are the last drivers to finish on the lead lap. Sam Smith finishes in 23rd, Alastair Hatcher in 24th, Rob Jackson in 25th ahead of Roger Morton in 26th. Sean Fleming is going to finish in 27th, Neil Ferrier in 28th, Tom Mayle in 29th, and James Nevandrew in 30th place.
2 races now done and dusted for the day. That means we are halfway through the program, and certainly I think this is going to be a good one. Well, it already has been a good one, but it's going to continue to be a good one. 2 more great races, I think, on the way. I'm pretty surprised, actually, JP, and we can bring up the track map and talk about it. I got to admit, I'm surprised by the quality of racing on this layout of the of Silverstone Circuit, on the international layout here. I knew it would be good. Silverstone usually is, but I didn't know it would be this good. The national course was a lot of fun and everything, but it didn't really give me any kind of expectation for the international layout. This has been insane.
Oh, absolutely. This, I don't know why. Maybe it I guess integrates the best part of, the whole circuit. Obviously, I miss Maggots, Backets, and Chapel as well. But I don't know, there's something about this short layout which is absolutely insane. The long straightaways, the tricky corners. Obviously, the whole circuit, Andrew, you can essentially go side by side through many laps and still, leave plenty of room for your opponent. So, I don't know, I just love it, and I'm glad we have 2 more races.
2 more races to go today, round number 1 of the new BSRTC season. It's going to be a fun one as well. 10 rounds this time. That means 40 races total this season in only 10 weeks. It's going to be exciting. You'll want to make sure rather to go ahead and stick around. It's going to be fun. I don't know if we're going to have the same kind of drama come the last race as last season with everything that happened with Adam Shepard and company, but we're going to have a fun season, I think. Really good racing so far, really clean racing, even if there are a couple of mistakes here and there, popping a curb and hitting somebody every once in a while. It's been really good, clean racing in the Mazda Miatas on Tuesdays and these touring cars on Thursdays, and it's only going to continue. Intermission here coming up between races 2 and 3, which means race 3 is on the way. Stick with us here at Pit Stop TV. Welcome back to the virtual Silverstone circuit. Races 1 and 2, they're done. They're over. 2 different winners, in fact. Race 3 now on the way. Those first 2 winners on the season, Neil Ferrier and Joe Winter. Gotta get used to these names. 2 brand new drivers as well that we've never seen before, and they've taken the first 2 checkered flags of this new BSRTC season. That's pretty special, I feel like, JP. That's a bit different. Not something we're used to. We're used to Jason Cooper dominating in the MX-5s and keeping things within house at 5-Star Motorsport.
Absolutely, it's a welcome change. Obviously, we love to see Jason Cooper, his driving style, him making his way through the field. But it's also fun to see, other drivers on this series, just winning. See 2 different drivers, 2 brand new drivers actually coming up to the series and taking those wins. It's obviously fun to see. Now the question bears, Andrew, who's gonna win in race number 3? Are we gonna see a familiar face, or are we gonna see 3 different winners on 3 different races? Well, we're bound to find out in around 17 minutes.
Once again, it's a 19-car invert, just the same as after race number 1. So we'll, of course, flip those 19 cars around from the results of race 2, and we will get a starting grid here in just a couple of moments. Warm-up wrapping up for this 3rd race. 29 cars have checked in on the entry blank. We'll see if all 29 go ahead and start. Starting on pole, you'll find Dale Bennison, new to the series as well. Duncan Cope will start from 2nd. Starting 3rd, you'll find Michael Seal. 4th, Dominic Opadesano. Starting 5th, you'll find car number 563 of Robin Walters. Andy McEwen rolls off 6th. Starting 7th, it's Martin Shirley. Carl Hardy in 8th. And starting from 9th and 10th, it's Craig Schill and Scott Malcolm. Right where Schill was again for the start of race number 2. So we'll see how things go in just a few more moments. Waiting on, it looks like 3 cars or so to grid up. Let's go ahead and check on weather before this one. As you can see, it's plenty overcast for this race, and as such, the track temp right back down to 65. The air temp hasn't changed literally at all since the start of the day. It's stayed at 65 degrees, and I expect it to stay there for race number 4 as well. And the fact that we don't have sun on this racetrack, JP, it's going to change things up just a little bit. There might be a little bit more grip at peak tire temp, but it's going to be tough to build those temps at first as we get ready for race number 3. Red lights on, waiting on the green lights atop the flag stand. And Barney puts the green flag out. Already slow off the start. Dale Bennison checks up. Duncan Cope with a huge hole shot to Abbey and Farm. He is well and clear of this field. Seal 2nd, Bennison 3rd. 4th is Carl Hardy, and Andy McEwen vying there for 5th on the inside of Dominic Opadesano. What a great start to this one. 1 car out wide.
1 car out wide. Looks like we went 4 wide, maybe even a 5 at one point in there. It was definitely not gonna, everybody was not gonna make it through turn 3. You can see even almost going 3 wide. You can see a few cars rejoining off of the grass, but the leader is pretty much checking out already. A bit, maybe even a 2nd, as you have other cars tailgating each other pretty much, slipstreaming down the hanger straight.
Into Stowe for the first time in this 3rd race. McEwen moves up 1 spot, gets ahead of Hardy. Shirley in 6th, Opadesano in 7th. It's Holman in 8th, Sutherland in 9th, and Lee Holmes rounding out your top 10 to turn 7 for the first time. Oh, McEwen right up on those curbs, keeps that spot over Carl Hardy. Side by side a bit further back. I don't see any 3 wides lasting anymore, but man, what a start to this race.
Absolutely, it's crazy. Much cleaner than what we had before. And look at that, Andrew. No pro
big
drivers.
crash in the back.
Oh no!
Several cars going through the dirt. It looks like Joe Winter, one of those involved. It seems like you do not want to win a race today just because you don't want to be around a crash, although he might be okay. Roger Morton gets the big brunt of that, Tom Mayle as well. They already tow back to the pit lane, it looks like. As Nathan Davies has got some damage. That right front is collapsed. And, that's not helping him.
Absolutely not. He's going to have to drive back to the pit lane if he does not tow. An unfortunate start of race number 3 for him. We're definitely going to have to take a look at what happened on the main straightaway, just on the exit of the final corner, actually. And, this is going to give us a good view to see exactly how that damage, how the suspension collapsed. Oh, and it was way before. It was actually down into the last corner. And doesn't they? Oh, yes.
Like I say that. Oh, yes. Yeah, there was definitely some contact there that damaged a few cars. They continue on rolling, though. Nathan Davies still trying to get himself back to the pit lane and is headed down the hangar straight currently, in fact. Let's go back up front, though. Once we come back from replay, you'll see Duncan Cope and Andy McEwen battling second and third, and Holman goes purple that lap right after McEwen did.
Yeah, Holman with the early pace, already setting those fastest lap. He's going to be trying to chase down, well, this guy right here, Shirley, just ahead of him. He's already looking down the inside of turn 3, goes deep under braking, almost gets into the back of Carl Hardy, and already clears that Veloster behind him. So he's up into 5th place, chasing Carl Hardy just in front of him. That number 4 car, that number 4 Audi, Andrew, it looks very strong early on.
Yeah, Holman has looked very good so far today. Maybe not as good as we would have wanted. Maybe not race-winning pace just yet, but certainly very, very close to it. Only a couple of steps away for the RD SimSport number 4. Chasing Carl Hardy through Stowe. Duncan Cope is 3rd, McEwen is 4th, and Michael Steele, a Pro-Am driver, leading the way. And we're already 3.5 minutes into this third race.
3 minutes only, and already tons of action. You can see Carl Hardy getting a bit on the apex. That's not gonna help him too much. And well, look at that, already going side by side. That's optimistic by Holman. And well, he makes his stick. They're gonna drag race through the start finish line. He's gonna have a little bit of an edge being on the inside line. He sets the fastest lap of the race while doing so. Gets quickly beaten by Shane Piggott. Carl Hardy sticks it on the outside of turn number 1. Looks like he's gonna shut the door on Holman. Does he? Holman goes deep under braking. And look at this, already moves below as well, behind him. Lee Holmes tries to get past Shirley, but looks like Holman, well, 2 moves in 2 laps, Andrew.
And now Lee Holmes in a really good spot. Martin Shirley as well, as you kind of called out there. Headed down the hangar straight. We're looking at 5th place Carl Hardy on board with 6th place Martin Shirley. We're going to see battles like this all day long as we continue on racing. Let's go ahead and go a little further back. Shane Piggott, Rob Sutherland, and Piggott now finally has that chrome finish on that 27 car that we've known to love, or come to love anyways. And Chris Knox now back in car 23. Things are just coming right back together as they should. Rob Sutherland with company from now his teammate. It looks like Knox, very aggressive into turn 7, takes that spot away.
Takes that spot, finishing second, almost getting that first victory of the season on the previous race. That's definitely going to be pushing him. McEwen in second place. That's the fastest lap of the race, only 8 tenths behind the leader. And Chris Knox, he's definitely going to be on a charge from this race on, from essentially from the last 10 minutes. So I expect to see the number 23 essentially just pushing as Ferrier, the race 1 winner. It sets now the fastest lap of the race as he gets even further battled down into turn number 3.
Watching James Neve, Adam Fox, Alistair Hatcher, some of these guys further back in the field, and maybe a battle for 4th. Carl Hardy, Duncan Cope, they're side by side.
Side by side, they're going to drag race through the hangar straight away. It's the Audi versus the Honda. Looks like the Audi just has that edge, and the Honda is forced to go back into the racing line, trying to look down the inside once again, trying to go deep on their braking. He does so. He gets that inside line. They're going to go side by side, and that's what we like, Andrew. That's beautiful, clean racing. The Audi is going to have the inside line through turn 7. That should be moved, done, and dusted. Yes, it is. Looks like not quite. Oh, and it's a big instant.
Dale Bennison clearly into the, well, just gone all the way through pit entry. He comes to a stop, trying to get back rolling. Other cars file on through. Contact there. Neve from the outside of Opatisano, it looks like. Everybody gets away nice and cleanly, though. Lee Holmes, side by side of Duncan Cope, side by side of making contact there. Touching, banging mirrors through Abbey and Farm. They get things sorted out. Cope falls in behind Holmes and now going to have a mirror full of Martin Shirley. With Shane Piggott, Chris Knox behind. The pro drivers are starting to come back alive here, JP. It's like as the season starts to begin to wear on, even just in the first round, they're starting to get back into their form and get back after it.
Absolutely, and they're going to go after it till the end of the race, till the end of race number 4, and I don't expect anything less. As you can see, this battle looks like it's definitely far from over, and Andrew, I'm loving these new drivers. I'm loving the new Veloster as well. You can see putting a lot of moves like that. I thought it was going to be contact. We went 3 wide at one stage. It never gets old.
No, it doesn't. As Chris Knox are on the outside of Duncan Cope there to turn 7. Let's go on board with car 912, and oh, contact there. Let's go up then to Chris Knox as he decided to hip check. Well, I don't think he decided to hip check Duncan Cope, but ended up hip checking him just a little bit. About halfway through this race, Shirley going to take a look at Piggott, thinks better of it.
just backs off down into turn 1. And yeah, looks like a few drivers already being a little bit safe. Unfortunately, looks like that might get him under pressure. As you can see, these two going at it. That's really close to contact. That's extremely close to contact. But down the inside they go. And well, that's a clean move. Not quite injured. These two, well, they're just on a titanic battle, aren't they? Just going forwards and backwards, battling side by side. And this is what we love to see. Look at that. Wow, they're bringing other drivers to the battle. This is only going to grow, and look at that. We're almost having 3 wide action down into the hangar straight once again.
That is Scott Malcolm on the inside of Rob Sutherland. Sutherland in the pink and black car. Malcolm in the orange and black car. Contact there and a drift out of Rob Sutherland to hang on to a top 10. That was some good driving out of car 25. That could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely, that was an amazing save mid-corner. That's some of the beauty of the front-wheel drive cars. You can see amazing saves like that, and they all keep pointing at the same direction. You can see just behind those guys, the battle is still very much alive. The number 505 of Mark Johnston still holding on for his position. You can see just behind him, Andrew. Look at how close the bottom 3 are there. You can see already a move lining up down the inside of turn 1.
That's Rob Jackson, Neil Ferrier, and Craig Schill. Ferrier still in this race. Schill back there in 19th. Not a good day for Schill right now. At least not a good race number 3 for him. As Ferrier through to the inside of car 585 gets on by. Gets on by Rob Jackson. There goes Craig Schill as well. I had it right. I started it out myself there for some reason. Back towards the front. Carl Hardy, Lee Holmes, Shane Piggott there in a line down to Stowe. When does Piggott make this move? I think Piggott's got more in that car. I think he can definitely go further north than these 2 Pro-Am drivers.
Absolutely. I share your thoughts. I do think he will go eventually.
Ooh.
Just waiting for stuff like that, Andrew. You know, small contacts like that essentially just open the path for you. And you can see he is already getting a good enough exit out of turn 8. Lee Holmes really closes the door on him. Kind of a smart but dangerous move. And you can see Chris Knox might have a look down the inside of Shane Piggott. But looks like Shane is trying to look down the inside of Lee Holmes. And, well, with 5 minutes to go, I doubt these cars are going to finish on this position. This is going to be wild.
Yeah, Chris Knox, Shane Piggott, definitely a couple of electric drivers. Piggott down to the apex, and Lee Holmes hits him. He hits Lee Holmes. Who knows? Holmes goes off the racetrack. Knox goes on through and takes both of those spots. Piggott gains nothing out of it, and Holmes loses 2 spots entirely. And here we go. Maybe a run for Holmes on the outside of Knox. Nope. Maybe think about left. Oh, think about right. And he'll go for the inside and Stowe.
Absolutely. He's going to look down the inside. You can see a few drivers behind him already looking down the inside. Who's going to come out on top of this battle as we head into Stowe side by side, the 2 Hyundais? And well, they're going to stick position. Looks like they're not going to change, albeit Chris Knox is trying to, well, essentially choose which line he'll go. Shane essentially just stuck on the middle of the racetrack, and Chris Knox couldn't find a way through him. Trying to get a good enough exit out of 8, and it's not going to be this time by. It goes a little bit too wide, sacrificing and rubbing a little bit of speed, so they maintain position for now.
Problems. Neil Ferrier and James Neve in the dirt in turn 7. Ferrier comes back on right in front of, I think that was Joe Winter. Walters was also slow. Neve was slow there. And problems now for Sam Smith and Open Asano, it looks like, potentially. Big trouble here. Robin Walters in trouble on the front stretch.
Oh, wow. Yeah, big, massive crash. You saw 2 runaway tires essentially still on the front straightaway. So, unfortunately for those, that's going to be their race cut short. And, well, there's only one way to find out exactly what happened. That's taking a look at the replay.
We want to find Neil Ferrier first. Looks like his incident already started, so we'll go a little further back and see what goes on here to start things off with James Neve. And they had just fought out of Stowe. So keep an eye on the gray and orange number 591, who just won the last race there. Won the first race of the day, Neil Ferrier. Contact with Neve. Oh, and Neve gets hit by Malcolm. It looks like they both go off of the racetrack. And somewhere in all this, Open Asano has a problem up out of the corner, and this is what causes the rest of this crashing.
Looks like down into turn 9. Yeah, we saw this incident happening in F1. Oh, and unfortunately, just you can see it was a bit of rubber banding, wasn't it, Andrew? Just after that contact, overcorrecting into the driver, and yeah, just an unfortunate end to these 2 races.
Yeah, Robin Walters unfortunately just kind of came down on the car there, and well, that's what happens sometimes when you have that kind of contact in that part of the racetrack. Yeah, things are going to go a little bit poorly. You never want to have contact in club here at Silverstone. 2.5 minutes to go. Race leader is Michael Seal, and it's looking pretty promising that at least one of these two Time for Fun motorsport drivers is going to wrap up a championship, or not championship, I'm jumping the gun here, to wrap up a win at the very least overall, as they've got a nice little lead over James Holman. All they've got to do at this point is work together if McEwen even gets there. Just be safe, be normal around each other, treat it like you're on a Sunday drive, and one of these two is going to win this race.
Absolutely. Only 2 minutes to go. McEwen, looks like the gap was stationary since the beginning of the race, so if he really wants this win, if he wants, to dethrone Michael Seal for the time being, he really needs to close that gap down, and he needs to do it quickly. With only a few laps to go, he's running out of opportunities. We saw Chris Knox, essentially on the last lap, Andrew, and it was on the last lap, just catching up a lot. So McEwen needs a little bit of inspiration. The gap between McEwen and Seal is the same as Holman to McEwen. So, I guess it's still all up for grabs.
Watching down to Stowe this time. On board still with Andy McEwen. We should get the white flag this time by. And our expected lap distance will go from 14 to 13. So, it's a matter of opportunities for car 4 of Andy McEwen. This will be white flag this time across the stripe for the entire field. White flag is out, presented by Whiplash Simcams.
One final lap for these guys. Michael Seal is doing what he needs to do, just maintaining that gap. Looks like lost a little bit, but Holman is really closing into McEwen this time, because even further battles on the back end of the grid is still all up for grabs. All positions, Andrew, are still open for everybody, and looks like a bit of an instant up down into turn number 1, but looks like everybody makes it through. Once again, these guys, the saves, Andrew, they have been absolutely phenomenal.
Hardy hangs on to it, loses a spot to Piggott. Backs up a little bit to Martin Shirley. And Piggott losing, it looks like maybe another spot. No, he hangs on to that one, is just ahead. Michael Seal going to run away with this win, it looks like. And you can see Holman starting to close in on McEwen. I don't think it's going to be enough. We are, in fact, coming to the checkered flag. We're already taking white flag. And these couple of teammates out front, they're looking pretty good. Piggott and Hardy, Piggott and Shirley battling down to Stowe. Shirley up the inside. Oh, so close there. Pig on the outside trying to hang on to that spot. And out of club for the final time in race number 3. Michael Seal opens the season with a race win in week number 1. Big stuff there for car 557.
Absolutely. A great drive from him, holding off McEwen for the time being. Holman's going to finish in 4th place. Looks like Chris Knox got promoted to 4th. Lee Holmes is going to finish in 5th place. As we have a car, looks like taking a drive-through penalty on the last lap, Andrew. Is that correct?
Shane Piggott with problems had to pit there, and unfortunately he will still be assessed with a hefty penalty. That is not going to cut it. Wow.
Is that Michael Schumacher? It's on the Silverstone as well. Same thing that happened.
Well, Shane Piggott may not be eligible for the invert after all, at least not whatever number we might end up with. That really changes things. Go ahead and bring up our spinny wheel once again. It looks like the entire field has come on through. Maybe one more car. So Sir Alan Toon comes across, wraps up this race, and we can go ahead and give the wheel one more spin. The invert for race number 4 on the way. Then JP, do you have any guesses as it spins around?
I loved seeing those full grids, but looks like we're going to be stuck with 15 inverts. Still a pretty good amount of inverts. Are we going to switch to 11? No, just on the edge. 15 is still a pretty good number, Andrew. Pretty good challenge, and well, it's going to be the final race of the day, so seems fitting. Pretty much half the grid is going to be inverted.
I would be okay with that, actually. I guess I'll have to be okay with it, won't I? We had 31 cars turn up, 30 cars a little bit later on, and now 29 in that race. Let's go ahead and bring up the unofficial race results from race number 3. Just trying to picture kind of how this is going to work out. I guess we'll find out.
Absolutely. Michael Seal is finished first. He's going to start in 15th. McEwen's going to finish in 2nd place ahead of Holman. Michael obviously winning the Pro-Am class and Holman winning the Pro class. Chris Knox is going to finish in 4th place. Lee Holmes in 5th. Carl Hardy in 6th, Martin Shirley is going to finish in 7th place, Rob Sutherland in 8th, Martin Johnson is going to finish in 9th place, and Scott Malcolm is in 10th place.
Starting from the 5th place now for race number 4, you'll find Adam Fox after finishing 11th here. Craig Schill finishes 1 position shy of where he had been finishing all day long. Duncan Cope there with 13th position will start from 3rd for race number 4. Neil Ferrier will flip things around, maybe a chance to go and get a second win on the day. He will start from 2nd in race 4, and Rob Jackson claims the final spot on the invert. Alistair Hatcher, Joe Winter, James Neve, Fiona Siddons, and Andrew Littler, they will have to start from 16th through 20th no matter what.
21st place will go the way of Dan Benson. Dominic Opediciano is going to finish in 22nd. Shane Piggott in 23rd. Alan Toon in 24th, and he's the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Tom Mayle 2 laps down. Sam Smith 3 laps down. Robin Walters 4 laps down in 27th. Nathan Davis and Roger Morton in 28th and 29th respectively.
So 3 races done, JP. What's been your favorite so far? And if you had to nail down any one racetrack that you're looking forward to most with the touring cars, what's it going to be?
Oh, so far, race number 2 was absolutely excellent. Not obviously, toning down race number 1 and 3. And looking at the schedule, that's an interesting one. On the MX-5, I'm looking towards Knock Hill Reverse. To pick a different racetrack, I guess either Road Atlanta or Canadian Tire. I'll take Canadian Tire for the TCRs. That that roller coaster of a racetrack will definitely be fun on these cars.
That's those are pretty good reasons, actually. I'm really looking forward to Sonoma, I think, in both cars. I want to say Knock Hill. I really like Knock Hill, but I think Sonoma is going to be very, very interesting with both of these vehicles, both of these classes. And yeah, especially when you have so many guys pulling double duty, right? You have now Andy McEwen's coming over, of course Michael Seal, Roger Morton, and a few others. They double dip in these series. They get used to one, and obviously get a chance to keep running that track throughout the week. That's going to change things up as well. We've seen that before, but now it seems like a few more drivers are doing that a little more faithfully. We do have one driver waiting on an interview right quick. JP, it's Craig Schill with a couple of 11th place finishes headed towards you.
So Craig, 3 races down, 1 race to go. How's your day been going so far?
Consistent. I seem to be enjoying 11th place a little bit too much.
Hopefully we can see one of those number 1s erased on the next race, and well, who knows, could we see a first place finish for you on the next race?
Yes, I've decided that this season I'm having I would like to get a first place in this.
Well, absolutely. We're counting on it. Could it happen tonight though?
It could do. I'm not going to say no. I'm definitely trying my hardest. I've definitely got pace. I've noticed I've got pace. Just can't seem to get past the cars in front.
What are the main differences you're finding, especially with the same layout between the MX-5 and the TCRs?
The MX-5 was very lively on the rear end. You could the slightest bit of throttle, and the back end was coming around, as I found out in race 4 on Tuesday night. This is a bit stable, and you can save the slides a lot easier just by full throttling it.
And quickly before I let you go and focus for race number 4, what made you stick with the Honda Civic instead of maybe trying either the Elantra, the Veloster, or even the Audi?
I did a few practice laps in the new Hyundai, and to be fair, they were very similar to the Civic. But me and Lee Holmes were kind of on the same like thought pattern of, we raced it all last season and we got to know it and got to feel like I could push it. So I just wanted to see what I could do in a second season.
Oh, absolutely. With that being said, Craig, I'm going to let you focus for race number 4. We're going to be cheering for you to bring it home the first place, and hopefully we can talk to you then.
Try my best.
Absolutely. See you soon.
Cheers.
Well, Andrew, that was Craig Schill, looking as confident as ever, something we're kind of used to, aren't we?
Yeah, a lot of these drivers, and I kind of touched on it Tuesday actually, a lot of these drivers have that kind of nice confidence where, yeah, things will happen sometimes, but they kind of just let it roll off of their back. They don't get too absorbed into any of that stuff. Yes, obviously everybody that turns up here for a race wants to finish first, but sometimes that's just not going to happen. And sometimes for some people like myself, it doesn't happen very often at all. So you just got to keep after it. And I certainly like the attitude a lot of these British guys have had. That said, race number 3 now in the books, race 4 on the way. It's an invert of 15 this time, down from the first two 19-car inverts, and we've got all of the action coming up in just a few moments. Brought to you by Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, BAM Racing Videos, and Whiplash Media and Whiplash Simcams. Don't go anywhere. More Pit Stop TV action with BSRTC boys on the way. Welcome back to the virtual Silverstone circuit. One more race to go, and this B-roll, it's real nice and sunny, clear skies, or at least partly cloudy skies. The sim is looking a little bit different, JP. Let's get right back to it. Let's just go ahead and show it. It's gotten a little bit darker. The clouds aren't too bad, but yeah, we're into evening, into sunset just about, and we're ready for things to get a little bit harder to see in just a few moments when we go racing. I'm excited to see how this changes things up. Where do breaking points go? How do these guys cope?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to change a little bit. Obviously, you know, the reduced visibility as well. And yeah, it's just going to bring another challenge yet again for these drivers. I'm pretty sure they're quite used to, at least, you know, I guess the old guns, you can say. The new ones might find this a little bit tricky, but I'm sure they'll quickly, you know, get within the rhythm with just a few laps. So It'll be interesting. It's the final race of the day. Drivers will be wanting to do their best, and well, I cannot wait.
Waiting on time to run out here. You can see the warm-up times. Well, positioning there on the left side. Joe Windsor pretty quick in warm-up. And it looks like Rob Jackson may be looking to find a little extra something here in this pretty much warm-up practice session. That, you know what, I like having this. I really do enjoy having this in more leagues. I wish more leagues would actually utilize this right before a race. Gives us a chance to kind of breathe. And you know what? That's what I've liked about this series, JP, is we've had all of this crazy racing week in, week out, day in, day out, and, well, literally race in, race out. But we get that chance to breathe in between races, a chance to reset. That feels real nice, especially when we've had the 15-minute, races that we've had today. It's been absolutely insane. And hey, another grid is ready to go. Another grid is ready to take the green flag. Your top 10 going to look like this: Rob Jackson, Neil Ferrier on your front row. Starting third, you'll find Craig Schill on the inside of row number 2, Adam Fox on his outside. Starting fifth, you'll find Scott Malcolm in car 574 for Result Clothing, and work guard, I believe, on that car. Martin Johnson will roll off from 6th. Starting 7th, it's Rob Sutherland in car 21. Martin Shirley in 5th, car 5 in 8th place. And to round out your top 10, of course, most of the invert is Carl Hardy and Lee Holmes. Whether it's taken a hit, I say it's taken a hit. The actual temperature is staying just the same at 65 degrees Fahrenheit, nice and cool, and tire temps. That's going to be a conversation for this final race on the day. Ready to go for race number 4. One more time around for 15 minutes. Let's get after it. Silverstone International, we're racing one more time. A bit of trouble there in Village, a little bit of contact here and there, but nothing too crazy. The whole field keeps on going. Nobody stopped just yet. That's what we like to see is, maybe a little more banging there in Chapel. I still see headlights. I don't see taillights just yet. That's a good sign.
Absolutely. A calmer start than race number 3's and 2. So ideally, if you're within a shot at winning this race, you can see a few drivers nearly going 3 wide already onto lap number 1. Kind of things we love to see. You can see an Audi going really wide, 2 cars going really wide.
Oh,
and
teammates!
losing by themselves. Teammates coming together and no more contact. 2 identical mistakes by those 2, Andrew.
Chris Knox was deep into Stowe, and there's more contact ahead of these guys. Sutherland making contact with some drivers, and one car looks like going around, maybe not. There's bunches of contact. These guys are just driving through each other. A bunch of teammates. We're still racing. Are they going to keep it this way? I can't believe that.
That was insane. That was great driving by pretty much everybody. A bit aggressive, but most drivers being a bit cautious. And no, the first spinner we've had.
Dale Benison, it looks like. Yes, that is Dale Benison in position 28. Let's keep after it. That's going to be big. Who was that into the wall? Martin Johnson, I think, in car 505, and it looks like, yes, it was.
That was a massive hit. I could see the headlights, just spinning around on the grandstands. You can see the battle for the lead right now. Ferrier from Schill, from Jackson, from Hardy. An all top 4 full of Pro-Am drivers, and Adam Fox tailing in that grid to win, essentially leading the amateur field. You can see Carl Hardy looks like he went a little bit wide, lost a little bit of grip, and it looks like most drivers are struggling with grip down into Stowe, Andrew.
With about 12 and a half minutes to go, a lot's already happened in this race. And popping the curbs there is Adam Fox in 3rd place, if you can believe it. There isn't even a pro in the top 5. Holman's your top pro right now. Winter in 7th. Knox is mixing things up. Back here around for 10th. Contact 3 wide, beating and banging. This is NASCAR bump 'em up stuff, and we're crashing. RD Simsport teammates around on the front stretch. Chris Knox and the 77 there. Oh my goodness, car's going to crash into him.
That rejoin was not ideal. That ended up causing even more carnage. And
Roger Morton, Fiona Siddons.
3-4 cars.
Robin Walters. Several cars out of this one. Chris Knox is damaged. Martin Johnson in the pit lane still. Wow.
Wow, indeed. Even more cars looks like going wide on the exit of turn number 3. Wow, take a breather. It looks like Ferrier drove away with the lead so far. You can see Jackson 2 seconds behind. Adam Fox kind of chasing him down and applying a little bit of pressure from third place as an amateur driver, Andrew. That is insane to think about.
Yeah, Adam's doing really good today. This is exactly what he needs, I think, as well. If you look over the points, of course, we don't have these updating automatically on the stream or anything, but he's already top 10 in points overall. He's putting together a really good day of racing here to kick this season off and start things off on a right foot. Shane Piggott, Sam Smith doing battle, but this is James Holman and Carl Hardy. Hardy tried her on the outside of Abby, and now Holman going to roll up on Craig Schill. This could be nice and exciting. 3 different cars and 2 different classes. Schill and Hardy are battling within the class.
Yeah, Holman trying to clear Hardy, and it looks like he does that. Fox moves himself up into second place, so really good for him as well. Looks like he did that just before the hangar straight down into Chapel, so a really good start of the race for him. You can see even drivers trying to break the toe. That is actually Adam Fox trying to break the toe from Jackson right behind him, so a really good race for him. You can see Jackson going down the outside, but not quite close enough.
Side by side into the corner that time. And out of Stowe, they get right back nose to tail. It's so tough to go into Stowe side by side and stay that way on exit. Let's see if Michael Steele can do it with some of his teammates back here. Oh, and slow there on exit was Alistair Hatcher checking up. That's another thing you gotta be careful of. If you're a bit deep, you don't want to check up on the racing line, and Alistair gets in deep into Seal. Seal hits him back, and Alistair is gonna go for a slide. Seal keeps on going, brings his teammate James Devo along with it. Oh, what a move there from I'm gonna mess it up. Opadasano.
Absolutely, that was a great move. That was a great streak of moves. Really aggressive driving, but really nice to see. As you can see now, a few of those drivers are going to be headlight flashing in frustration. We're going to see more moves maybe down into turn number 3. Not quite what I expected. Well, I'd say that too early. Already a few moves, even more contact, Andrew. So, well, touching and barging, I guess you can say, between all of this. And, well, I guess this is far from over.
The term is argy-bargy, and it certainly fits right now. Alistair Hatcher and Michael Seal, door-to-door contact one more time. I get the feeling these two might not be too happy with each other. Yeah, Seal is annoyed. Crosses over in front of Alistair, certainly letting him know that he does not like the way this race has gone. And, yeah, body language with race cars, that's certainly a thing. Here we go, side by side with Davies and Shirley. Davies has been somewhat quiet since those first race or two. Things have really changed with car 555.
Yeah, absolutely. A few strings of bad lucks here and there. Luckily on race number 4, he finds himself in the top 10 in 9th place, just battling with 10th place Shirley. And he got the position for the time being. He's still, 2 seconds behind? Looks like Schill.
Craig Schill, a massive, massive shunt into the wall there. This is into Village. Massive, massive hit. We had just spoken with him a few moments ago. That is big.
That is a massive incident. He's out of the race. So unfortunately, the dream of winning one overall race is going to have to be postponed. And I'm just interested to see if this happened all by himself, or was he helped with any sort of contact. Down into turn number 1, you can see he's leading. And, well, that's his teammate, isn't it, Andrew? No, it's not. Sorry. Well, he's leading still in turn 2, and this is where I guess the contact will
sideways. Oof.
He loses a bit by himself, actually.
Yeah, he really did. He was already sideways, and Hardy was certainly not at fault in that case, just was part of the contact, and that is how that one goes. They are both now in the pit lane after having towed. Wow, Neil Ferrier right back to the top of the board. Hey, he made the most of that start, got the whole shot, got away from all that chaos, JP, and we're talking about car 591, I think, going 2 for 4 on the day, batting 500. That's a pretty good record.
Absolutely. Look, he's doing everything he needs to do. 5-second gap to second place, Andrew.
And I don't think that's going to change. If anything, it's only going to keep growing.
Yes, unless obviously he makes a mistake on his zone, I don't think that gap will change. Holman is chasing down Fox, who, Andrew, at one point he was in 6th place. Now he finds himself in 2nd. An excellent race for him as well. But Holman, just by that line down into Stowe, you can clearly see he's pushing the limits of that Audi.
Oh, yeah, he's getting everything he can. And, I mean, it's entirely fair to do so here. If you are James Holman, you know that Neil could absolutely make a mistake still in this race. Things are not over just yet, even though it's looking pretty good for Neil Ferrier. You've got to, oh boy, purple there from Neil. If you are Holman, you got to make sure you run as fast as you can in case there is an issue, especially even if it's just fuel, say out of, well, maybe not out of Stowe, but maybe out of Chapel. If he runs out of fuel, gonna have a problem.
Absolutely. This battle, though,
that shouldn't happen in this race. Fuel won't really be a concern, but for example.
Yes, absolutely. Well, looking back at this battle, I'd say Adam is feeling a little bit of the pressure. You can see that gap really came down quite a lot, and I think the move will be done in this lap. You can see pretty much equal, actually, these two. Now the Audi starts to close up with the help of the slipstream. Is Holman going to look down inside into Stowe? Yes, he does. Will he outbreak Fox? Yes, he does. Looks like Fox is taking a little bit easy, Andrew, just to make sure he finishes on the overall podium. Currently has the pace over Jackson and Winter and those guys behind him, so not fighting too hard. Just as I mentioned that he almost goes down the inside of Holman once again, but looks like he's going to try to hold position for the time being, in an excellent position for an amateur driver.
Got to race smarter, not harder. You don't have to push the car right now. Just keep what you have together. 5.5 more minutes, and you should be okay. Maybe lose 1 or 2 spots. That might happen, sure, but it's just some really good race car drivers coming up behind. Rob Jackson 4th, Joe Winter in 5th. Couple of teammates there between those two. Nathan Davies in the 6th spot. Scott Malcolm in 7th, and a lot of these battles splitting up, but Shane Piggott, Sam Smith, oh boy, here we go. Martin Shirley as well. This is into Village, it looks like. This is real close.
This is real close and beautiful. You can see a few drivers getting compromised by those lines down into turn number 2. Now we're going to see even more actions down into turn number 5, down into Chapel. And it looks like these drivers will be holding position for the time being. That's Sam Smith leading the pack. Shirley just behind him. Looks like he's going to be drag racing with Shane Piggott. And they're all on the right side. A bit of door banging there.
They're still hitting.
Going 3 wide. That could be dangerous. Luckily, everybody keeps pointing the same direction. McEwen moves himself up into 3rd place. Looks like Shirley almost made contact with Lee Holmes on the exit of Stowe. Boy, this is getting fantastic.
Oh, and McEwen real deep on the outside of Piggott there. Trying to get position. Couldn't quite claim it. Piggott now drives way up out of the corner following Sam Smith. This stuff is just good. Lee Holmes, oh my goodness, around the outside of the curbing there, out of club. Gets that spot back over Shirley for the moment. Can he hold it through turn 1? No. Martin Shirley takes that back. James Neve has a great front row seat for it all. This has just been insane. Roger Morton, Andrew Littler, in case you're wondering, they're for the back in this field. They are 19th and 20th. Michael Seal joins them well back here in the 21st spot, and Alan Toon in 22nd. Up front, Neil Ferrier is still leading the race, and James Holman starting to close in. This could be a pretty exciting little situation in the top 5, especially if Adam Fox can't really hold that pace potentially over these couple of teammates in Jackson and Winter. If they catch him, JP, do they team up and draft on by? What do they do here?
Oh, absolutely. That would be I guess, a smarter choice, you can say. If Winter's catching up Jackson at one point should just, make the overtake easy. Don't, waste a lot of time battling your teammate. They could do essentially what F1 teammates do, right? Jackson, well, that's Winter by. If Winter cannot really get close to Fox, just get the position back, gives the position back, because they have a massive gap behind them, around 5 seconds. And while they're just trying to chase down 1 and 2 seconds ahead. So the move could happen right here down to turn number 3. And yeah, looks like Jackson doesn't fight too hard.
So move Joe Winter up 1 spot into 4th on a teammate even as they work through Village and the Loop and now through Chapel. 2.5 minutes to go, just about. It's a 6-second gap for Ferrier to Holman, and that's not going to change, certainly. That is just one really good race put together by Neil Ferrier. And, of course, he got mired back in the 2nd and 3rd races after winning the first one, but he was good all day long. A couple of other battles throughout the field. This is about the 10th position through about the 14th position, maybe a little more than that, even 8th through 14th, as we've got cars just in a line, a couple of small gaps, and here we go, a move from James Neve to the inside of Martin Shirley. This would put Neve into 12th, and it does, at least for the moment, side by side they go through Vale.
Down into turn 7, we saw cars making the moves on the inside and on the outside. Looks like, we're seeing even more battles up ahead. You can see the number 27 of Shane Piggott. He's going to lose the position to McEwen on the final corner. Looks like McEwen is trying to get a place back Right now, he currently has the position. He has to back off a little bit down into turn 1. So really interesting racing, Andrew. With 2 laps to go, it's really difficult to bet, well, in which position everybody's going to finish.
Things getting spread out up front, but the mid-pack, that's where these battles are always at. Things are definitely heating up in the middle of these fields. Let's go on board with Andy McEwen. Position number 10, looking for maybe 9th. Oh, gets into Piggott there, shot in the shorts. Grabs the dirt there on the curbing. Gets back after it up onto the hanger straight. Just over a minute to go. We should get white flag this time by, depending on where our race leader is. Neil Ferrier into turn 7 there. We should, and I say should, get a white flag this time by.
As you mentioned, this should be the white flag with 1 minute and 2. That's not really a lot of time to get through the remaining of the racetrack. Currently, we don't have the confirmation, but it should definitely be in. Well, Andrew, he won race number 1. He's gonna win race number 4. So starting the season off right and ending round 1, well, in a high as well. A really good day for Ferrier, at least on those 2 races. Holman's still trying to chase him, but this battle right here, I guess all eyes needs to be on this battle to see who's gonna finish ahead of who.
Watching Shane Piggott here just trailing Sam Smith. These positions about to get figured out in the midfield. Neil Ferrier has 6-second gap. Things are sorted out ahead of these guys. This is really where the battles are at. The entire midfield, I think, still is about to get sorted out. McEwen real close to Piggott there once again. What can he do down the hanger straight? Let's go up to our race leader. He's already out of Stowe, down to Vale. Final couple of corners into Club now, and that was white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. Neil Ferrier, a Pro-Am, will make it a Pro-Am 3 for 4 total. 3 Pro-Am drivers win at Silverstone to kick off this season of BSRTC, and this is your most exciting battle coming down to the checkers. Side by side, Piggott on the inside for 7, runs it a bit deep. Sam Smith crosses him up, 27 versus 527, and wide goes Smith. That's going to open the door to McEwen. McEwen goes on through. He's now going to get 5th in class. Smith gives it up, but hangs on to 10th overall.
Beautiful finish by those 2. You can see even a photo finish right behind them. What a race, Angel. What a day of racing for these guys. Absolutely fantastic. Looks like the rest of the field is going to be filing it through on the upcoming seconds, but wow, what a great season opener.
Michael Seal will come on through. Dale Bennison, Roger Morton, Andrew Littler, and Sir Alan Toon will take another lead lap finish. I don't think he finished off of the lead lap at all today. If so, it wasn't by a whole lot. He had a really solid run. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. For somebody who's just out there to have a little bit of fun, relax, you want to see them at least finish on the lead lap. Pretty good progress there for Sir Alan Toon. That is what we love to see. Let's go ahead and get to our race results quickly and check out the unofficial, of course, unofficial race results from race number 4.
Neil Ferrier, after winning race number 1, is going to win race number 4. James Holman is going to win, is going to finish in 2nd place and win the pro class once again. So it's pretty much a top 2 repeat from race number 1. Adam Fox, a surprise 3rd place, really good 3rd place for him to win the amateur class. And look at that, Andrew. We have the winner of the Pro-Am, the winner of the Pro, and the winner of the M class in the overall podium. Joe Winter is going to finish in 4th place. Rob Jackson in 5th. Nathan Davies in 6th place. Scott Malcolm in 7th, ahead of Shane Piggott. Andrew McEwen and Sam Smith in top in the 10th place.
Finishing 11th, you'll find Lee Holmes in car listed here as 935. That should be 535 for next week. It's car 5 and 12th there. Martin Shirley, one of the new drivers for one of the new teams that are in this series. James Neve finishes 13th. Then it's Dominic Opadosano there in 14th. Alistair Hatcher in 15th. The back end of this 11th through 20th grouping, you'll find Chris Knox, Rob Sutherland, a couple of teammates there. Then Michael Seal, Dale Bennison, and Roger Morton. Dale and Rogers seem to be teammates there under the result banner.
21st place will go the ways of Andrew Littler and Alan Toon once again in the lead lap in 22nd. Craig Schill is going to finish in 23rd ahead of Carl Hardy. Robin Walters in 25th. Tom Mill in 26th. Fiona Siddons in 27th. And Martin Johnston in 20th place.
4 races done and dusted. We've already got drivers ready to talk to us. That's what we like to see. We talked to Craig Schill earlier on. Fiona Siddons and Neil Ferrier up next. And JP, you have the honors. Couple of race wins on the day. Neil Ferrier showing that he has got some muscle here in this BSRTC spring season. Here comes driver 591.
So Neil, a fantastic day of racing, at least on the first and fourth race. You start off the season with a win. You finish round one with a win. Talk us through it.
Yeah, race one was interesting. I wasn't expecting to qualify so well, to be honest with you, because I never really got the perfect lapping. But to start in the second row alongside James was quite good, and then me and James got to the front. Raced James quite a few times, so I kind of knew he had the pace to get us away from the guys behind. So yeah, just kind of went from there. Sat behind him in race one. Race two.
Oh, keep on going. Yeah, please talk us through the 4 races. I was gonna mention race number 2 and race number 3 didn't really go your way, so I want to hear your point of view.
Yeah, race 2 was kind of weird. There was, on the exit of the last turn there was a bit of carnage, and I hit the boy in front of me square on, but the car just spun out, so I ended up in the pit wall. So yeah, race 1 was a write-off straight away. Race 2 started right at the back. That was a bit of a first couple of laps, or the first few corners was a bit hard. Managed to pick my way through some of the traffic, and then got into turn 3, I think it was. We got a bit of contact, and then got 2 slowdowns, and then it was just, and then got involved in a incident into the last turn as well. But hey ho, it's touring car racing, isn't it?
And obviously, you know, this being your first season of BSR, this being actually your debut in BSR, how do you see yourself in the future? Do you see yourself as an early championship contender already, or are you taking it race by race, step by step?
I think I'll just take it step by step to enjoy the racing. So yeah, to be up at the sharp end of my first season, I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, with like reverse grids all the way from race 2 to race 4, takes some getting used to. But yeah, I'll just take it race by race. It's the last 3 races that we kind of need to plan on and look at where I'm starting and stuff like that, and the guys around me. Because obviously James has got to be definitely the man to beat at the minute, judging by the way he was coming through. So, and I wouldn't have been involved if it wasn't for James inviting me along. Well, sending me an invite to the Discord, and I've raced Michael a few times in IDMC as well. So yeah, it's eventful and it's good. Definitely, I'm sure I'll watch the stream back when I go to bed, and I'm sure race 2 to 4 will be quite good to watch.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to have lots of fun. It was a crazy, crazy good race. But, well, I'm going to let you go. But actually, before I let you go, Neil, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out?
Obviously, a big thanks to Sim Party Racing. That's the guys that I race with on a daily basis. Sim 3D for supplying the Rumble motors. Casey Motorsport, good friend of mine. He's helped me quite a bit in sim racing, and obviously I have to give Andy McHugh a big shout out. Not only is he quite good in the commentary box, he's quite good on a race car on the sim as well. So yeah, and he pushed me into the pit lane there after the checkered flag when I ran out of fuel.
Absolutely. With that being said, Neil, it was a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we can talk plenty more next week. But, well, good luck in practice, and, well, good luck next week.
Thank you, boys, and obviously thank you guys for putting the stream on.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew, that was Neil Ferrier, race 1 and race 4 winner. A great start of the season for him, and, well, excited to see what else comes out of the number 591.
It's going to be a season to watch for Neil, certainly. You know, putting this entire series on notice, including this guy, James Holman, who comes home with a second-place finish in the final race of the day. But certainly an eventful day there, James. How do you wrap things up? If you could sum the whole day of racing here at Silverstone up into maybe 4 words, matches the car number, how would you do it?
Very, very, very exciting. It wasn't very good. I used the same word 3 times. No, it was good. I was a bit disappointed not to win race 1. Having led most of it, but my tyres just went off a little bit there, and I could see Neil's car was working better in the places where I didn't really want him to work. So I didn't really fight too hard. I just thought I'd try and perhaps have a go on the last lap, but I couldn't get close enough. And then the last 3 races, the reverse grid, were just all about surviving and trying to get car in the right spot. So yeah, I was happy enough because it was a good set of results across the night. So yeah, happy enough.
Now I know I'm pretty darn tired, but I honestly felt like, especially after race one, it seemed like in my head you had a race win at some point in the day, but you don't. How do you, I guess, change your attack to next week at Donington Park, if at all, to try and change that? Or is it really just up to the other drivers and their decisions and trying to survive, like you say, for races 2 through 4 with the inverts?
Yeah, obviously, like I say, I would like to have won that first race in particular because I was there, I was leading for the majority of the race, but yeah, it's difficult because when you're in the reverse grid, there's always someone that's, there's going to make a bit of a break, and it's difficult to make time up in these cars. Like the third race was probably my best race, coming from, 15th, 16th, or whatever it was, and Michael and Andy were driving exceptionally well, and I just couldn't. I was catching them, but I just ran out of time. So, but I think, to be honest, my plan of attack is just try and put 4 solid results every single time, and then hopefully the championship will take care of itself in that regard. So yeah, that's my plan really, is just to try and not get involved in too much, not too many skirmishes. Obviously I did over the course of the night, but everyone did, but just come out on the right side of them and get back to solid results, which I think I did tonight with 4 top 5 finishes. So yeah, happy enough.
And the championship, of course, it's determined pretty heavily, I think, by the car you choose. Is there any particular reason going with the Audi? Is there any, I guess, feeling that you have better with the Audi as compared to the other cars? What influences you to drive the Audi over the others?
Purely in sprint races, it's the stand and start. The Audi it doesn't have a clutch, it has a DSG gearbox, so it's like having launch control every single time. So I was making 6, 7, 8 positions going into turn 1 like every race. So that's really, to be honest, I think the Hyundai is a slightly quicker package, the Elantra, but I can get such a good start that I can sort of negate that, if you like. And I think the tracks where the corner radius is much shorter, I think the Audi will be quicker. It's just on the long, progressive, sweeping corners, the Audi just starts having that little bit of understeer mid-corner, and it's difficult to sort of compete with the Hyundai, which is more of a GT style car. No, it's definitely they both have their strengths and weaknesses, and I think I just went for the Audi because purely of the start, really. So gives me the most chance of getting out of trouble.
And it's a pretty diverse set of 10 races, 10 rounds, 10 different racetracks. Does anything stand out to you? What track do you like best?
I quite like them all, to be honest. They all have their own various different challenges. Yeah, I think probably if I had to choose one out of the remaining 9, I'd probably say Road America is one of my favourites. But to be honest, I've had good success in all of the tracks that are on the calendar. So finished in the top 6 in the top split of the Raw at Daytona, so I'm looking forward to Daytona as well. That's always a good tactical race because of the draft. So yeah, it's good fun. No, there's not really any tracks that I dislike at all. So it'd be hard work coming through the pack every time.
So there we go. Might have to watch out for James Holman at Road America here in a few weeks, buddy. Congratulations on some pretty solid running, even if the W wasn't yours just yet, but I'm sure it's got to be coming at some point. Once again, good runs. We'll see how you do the rest of the season. Best of luck to you.
Thanks. Just one quick thing. My team boss there, Rob Sullivan, he was racing tonight with a popped out shoulder, so just want to say kudos to him. He did a great job there racing with basically one arm tonight, so fair play to him.
Fair enough. I really don't have anything to follow that up with. James, have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Take care.
Now, racing with a popped-out shoulder, that is, that'll definitely hinder your experience here, JP. Moving on down the line, though, we're going to go ahead and grab a car 574, somebody that I don't think we've ever spoken with before, the Work Guard 574 of Scott Malcolm. He is next up.
So, Scott, obviously, the 4 races, the opening round, how do you tackle a new season like this?
Tack on new season, I'm going to tack on new car. That's the first time I've ever done a league race with that car.
And how difficult is it? And how does it change from like I guess you can say the normal cars you've been driving on iRacing? How difficult is the touring car to learn and to be fast at?
Well, usually if you find me in the Audi, so I thought I'd try the Civic, and I found it was more of a tank compared to the Audi. And I'm like bagging doors with people, and I'm getting hit up the back, I'm hitting folk at the front, and I'm looking at the car at the end of the race, and there's like, there's not a scratch on it.
Absolutely. And what made you choose the Honda Civic over the new cars like the Veloster and obviously the Audi as well?
But to be honest, I don't know. I tried other new cars. I might even in future seasons switch to them. Or I might even go back to Audi, but it was just, let's try this car, let's see how it goes.
Well, absolutely. Looking towards next race, the next track, how confident are you coming to it? Obviously, we're going to be racing at Donington Park. Are you familiar with the track? Obviously, it's going to be a new challenge as well with the TCR. How would you rate your chances?
I don't know what it's going to be like with the Civic. I have no idea. If I was in the Audi, I would have, probably expect about top 10 or something like that. But Civic, I don't know. I would need to do quite a few practice sessions and see where I come, and then just take it from there.
Absolutely. And I guess that you pretty much answered it all. I'm excited to see more of you on the racetrack. Excited to talk to you again. Before I let you go and focus for practice for the next round, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out?
I just got to be the guys for organising this series. You guys for doing the commentary, and all the drivers, and the result drivers as well. That's really about it, I think.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, it was a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we can see plenty more of you throughout the season. And yeah, good luck for next race. Hopefully we can talk to you then.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Well, Andrew, that was Scott Malcolm. A good driver, seems to be confident, taking a little bit easier, looks like, than other competitors, which, on the long term might be a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have a relaxed approach coming into these races, and we talk about some of the outlook that these drivers have, and it's always good to hear when they do have a more relaxed, more calm outlook, and there you go. Scott Malcolm seems to have that down pat, finishes 7th in that last race of the day. Let's go on down the line and grab, you know what, because he commentated here earlier on, last weekend, I think it's only fair that we grab Andy McEwen this evening. Andy, we don't usually see you in these touring cars. This is kind of already a little bit abnormal, and you had some spills. Walk us through it.
I knew you'd start with that. You wouldn't mention our 1-2 in that race, would you? No. Talk straight about the crashes. You're right, though. It gets a bit physical out there in touring cars, but that's kind of part of the fun of it, really. And I wanted to do the last season, but I had some work commitments, couldn't commit to the whole season. So this time around, realised I was available, and I thought I'll give it a go, fully expecting to be terrible. And Nathan Davis gave me a setup, which gave me about half a second a lap, and here we are. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, a couple of spills along the way, and I'm sure you're going to tell me all about them now.
Well, actually, I wanted to start talking about the fact that you were here at Silverstone last weekend. Did you take any site walks around the racetrack, maybe get a bearing for what's going to go, what went on this week for the Miata races, the TCR races? What was it like, man? I've never been to Silverstone. I know we always talk about this stuff when we talk outside of the broadcast, but, I mean, just tell us about Silverstone.
There's the thing I should say, and then the truth. I'll go with what I should say. I enjoy going to Silverstone because it is a special place, and I was working out of the wing, and it's a cool place, to think you're walking down the same paddock that the Formula One drivers do, and walking on the same track at times as well. Yeah, it is. It's a cool place. And funnily enough, I did pick up a couple of little things for the MX-5 races, because there were something like 10 MX-5 races that I commentated on, and saw the way that they were racing each other and setting each other up, and picked up a few tips, which kind of came in handy on Tuesday night. This, though, was just a massive learning curve. I had no idea really how to drive the car, let alone race it. So not a circuit I normally enjoy driving, but I think I'm warming to it slowly.
And how about the new team situation? Obviously, you sent me a message earlier today. I saw that. Didn't have a chance to reply, but clearly you got lined up, at least in the right paints by the end of the day, with Michael Seal and James Neve. How's that going?
Yeah, do you know what? Really good, actually. It's I'm still a member of Year One Racing. Don't get me wrong. Still be racing in those colours on Tuesday nights. I know you like that paint, Andrew. I wouldn't dream of changing it. But yeah, it's really helpful to have teammates, and even in the TCRs, you know, when you're qualifying or even just in the races, it's nice to have people that you can work with. Me and Michael worked well to get that 1-2 in the third race. So yeah, Year One. Not many drivers were interested in coming and racing here, so I thought, well, I get on well with Michael and James. They were forming this new team, Time for Fun, and I thought, yeah, give it a go. So certainly for the TCRs this season, I'll be racing with them, and I'm working quite closely with them in the MX-5s as well, while still sporting the Year One colours.
And if these points hold, it looks like you've panned out to be tied for third with Winter and Holmes. That's a Pro and a Pro-Am. How do you attack things now in that Pro-Am category as opposed to the Pro category that you see yourself in on Tuesdays?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's about 15 places higher up than I expected to be. I actually requested to be a Pro-Am, not a Pro, because I did the first round last season and I was terrible. I qualified 27th or something. So, yeah, that might be rethought perhaps over the next couple of weeks. We'll see how I get on at Donington next week. But, you know, I really didn't come in aiming for the championship. I just wanted to have some fun. The MX-5 series gets so serious sometimes because I'm, you know, lucky enough to be competitive and fighting for championships in that. And so I really just wanted to do this and have some fun and enjoy the racing because I love touring car racing. So yeah, if I keep doing well, I might have to rethink that strategy. But for now, I'm still trying not to think too much about the points.
Well, Andy, thanks for sharing some time with us here at the end of the day. Congratulations on some good runs. You had that 1-2 with Michael earlier in the day, but definitely you got to go finish ahead of him next time out in that situation. Maybe rough him up a little bit, you know, crash him into the wall. I don't know. You can figure that part out. But seriously, congratulations on some pretty good runs. And I look forward to seeing you a whole lot more on these Thursdays.
Yeah, there's no getting rid of me these days. And great to have you guys back as well. Really enjoyed the broadcast last season. Good to have you back again.
It's been a lot of fun. That's Andy McEwen with some pretty good finishes throughout the day. And, I mean, tied for third in points, JP. That's pretty big, especially for a Pro-Am driver. That's a really big change, I think, for what Andy's used to in these TCR cars. Big change there for car 504. Let's go ahead and take a look again at these upcoming broadcasts on Pit Stop TV. You can see BSRTC still on that Thursday slot. Well, let's go ahead and ignore that and look forward to this evening. It's the North American Racing League at Sebring International Raceway, starting in the dark, running into the morning. GT3 cars around that place. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I even popped into a Porsche Cup session last night. I guess Porsche Cup is actually running there in the iRacing official landscape, running into the night. So it was kind of a nice little preview of what we might see, but maybe in a little bit of a reverse situation. It's going to be fun later this evening. Coverage gets kicked off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then Sunday, we've got the MPI Cup Series beginning their tenure here on Pit Stop TV at Circuit of the Americas. JP, that is going to be a lot of fun to me. Really, every broadcast is always a lot of fun, but it's always fun to bring in a new series like this. An MPI Cup Series, I think, is going to fill a nice void on Sundays.
Oh, absolutely. New challenges are obviously always welcome, and seeing the new gen cars on Coda, it's going to be fantastic. Cannot wait to be present for that. Obviously, to keep updated yourself in all the broadcasts, all the news, all the pictures, all the post-race coverage, you need to follow us on social media at facebook.com/pitstoptv, twitter.com/pitstoptv_, instagram.com/pit_stop_tv, and youtube.com/pitstoptv1.
That will do it this evening from the virtual Silverstone circuit. It's been a whole lot of fun as per usual. Been happy to have had all of you here watching this evening and just joining us for some general good times with the British Sim Racers. It's always a good time when these guys show up and have some good racing, and today was absolutely no different. If we can get these graphics straight, we can go ahead and pull this up. I do want to thank, of course, JP Costa being here with me throughout the course of the day, and, well, later on today, JP, it's going to be a whole lot of fun with North American Racing League and, of course, into the weekend with MPI Cup Series. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching along. We will see you next time. Have a great night.